Living every day in your head for free. You can tap away, but I will not hear you scream. You can break your keys, spread your toxicity, your world outside reality. In your room, a little hideaway, but you let it through. Enough to go insane. Living in the dark hasn't treated you well. You're building your own prison cell. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Did I brush you off? Is it your lack of friends? We never met, even if you pretend. Am I in your debt? I don't owe you nothing. Don't say something you'll regret. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Hate, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it. I'm telling you, don't waste it. Lies telling you, don't waste it on me.
Live stream. Hello, gamers from around the world. This is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to today's episode of the World of Gaming, and of course, co-streaming again on WandrinDutch's channel.
Yes.
But yeah, and guys, it's showcase season. It's like that showcase season is. I'm not a big sports guy, you know. I do watch when the Euro will air in June, a little bit of soccer, of course, but I'm a gamer, and E3 time, showcase season time is like my highlight of the year. You know, I'm excited and I'm looking forward to it, and there's plenty to talk about with the showcases coming up. Of course, a little later tonight, we're going to have the State of Play. Ubisoft Forward is coming, Summer Game Fest, and then the big one, of course, the Xbox Showcase. So it's exciting times. But let me shout out our awesome community first. Welcome to everyone who is joining us here in the chat live. And big welcome to everyone who listens after the fact, either here on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening. A big welcome to you guys as well. And Dutch, a big welcome to you. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I haven't changed since I got in from work, so I'm straight on. I had food and straight in here. So Um,
Yeah.
and of course, we were originally going to do this tomorrow, but Boxy just dropped in last second and went, "We're doing it today." So, so I rushed around like a madman, putting thumbnails together.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
getting the
wasn't
show
sure
ready.
if I could make it today because I was out in Munich actually for work reasons, and I wasn't sure if I'll be back in time for the show. But yeah, we drove home early this morning, so we are all good for today. And you were a little surprised when I was, "Man, I'm home, baby. We're gonna do a podcast today."
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm good. I am good. Yes. Hopefully it's an okay showcase, or should we say state of play tonight. Hopefully it's all right. Hopefully we see a few good
Yeah.
things and things look good. A few more PC ports, I suspect. Some games as a service games, and maybe a couple of little surprises in there. I know there's been a leak, but we'll see whether or not that is true or whether or not it isn't. And we'll not that long to wait. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about all of it because we're going to be talking about showcases today. So
Yes, we will. We will.
yeah,
It's not gonna be like the proper Xbox prediction show
no, that's a
today,
special
though.
show.
No. Oh, we have a very special show. You can bookmark that. It's gonna happen on Saturday, June 8th. So the one day before the actual Xbox showcase. We've done that for the last 3 years now.
Yeah,
It's the fourth biggest prediction show. One day before the Xbox showcase on Saturday, we're gonna start at 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Europe, and 7 p.m. UK time. And I think it's 4 a.m. Sydney time,
ooh, lovely.
because it could be that we have a couple of people from Australia joining us as well on that day. And it's going to be an awesome show. We will have more than 10 people coming into the Xbox prediction show, dropping in and out. Probably a lot of people also live from in LA. They are still on a maybe because it could be a time conflict with the summer showcase coverage event that happens afterwards. But a lot of people like Lord Cognito, King David, Ainsley, John from Xbox Era, and so on, they all told me, okay, Mr. Boomstick as well. They all told me they want to come on the show, and if it's via the phone for just a few minutes to give us some impressions. And we'll have plenty of other creators as well coming on for that big prediction show. So yeah, set your bookmarks.
Yes, definitely. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Fun times, man. Again, showcase season is always exciting. So enough with the self-promotion. Oh no, there's not enough self-promotion, because today, Dutch,
Yes,
we're gonna do a couple of giveaways.
we are. We are. Because of course tomorrow Hypercharge Unboxed releases. So we're going to two copies from Boxy, 2 copies from myself, so 4 in total. So 2 for Boxy's stream, 2 for my stream. We're going to do some giveaways. So we didn't announce it on Twitter, primarily because we want to give it to our community that sits here and joins us every week and listens to us ramble on about video games and supports us that way. So everybody who's here and in the chats tonight have a chance of winning a copy of Hypercharge. So it's going to be fun.
So yeah, absolutely. And like you said, if we would have announced that on Twitter, we would have like these giveaway lurkers in there, and we didn't want to do that. So it's just for our regular community, the people that are here each and every week. So 2 on your channel, 2 on my channel. It's gonna be a blast. We're gonna do that a little later in the show, though. So okay. I think now we're done with the self-promotion.
Yeah, straight after this show as well, I am doing a live reaction to the State of Play. Final live promotion.
Yeah. You do that. It's that State of Play airs midnight German time. And unfortunately, I don't have a free day tomorrow, so I gotta get up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Actually, 5:30. I'm not gonna stay up for the state of play
Yeah.
for that reason. Just it's because it's too late. I'm gonna watch that tomorrow morning though. So,
Yeah, a
but
nice
yeah, we will
30-minute
get to
thing to start your day.
exactly. During breakfast, gonna watch that. All right, Dutch. I think now we're really done, right?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
did
all
we
done.
forget anything?
All
I
done.
don't
Ready to
think.
rock and roll.
All good. We can start with the actual show. Dutch, people have been asking me. I got like, I don't know why, because it's been a long time since we did jingles in this podcast.
It
I
is.
remember the jingles,
It is.
and we stopped doing that because the people that are listening on the audio services can't see the jingles.
I want to quickly shout out Vin in the chat here. He keeps saying he's a fired former employee.
Yeah.
Come on, Vinny boy. You stepped down because your best buddy wasn't there. Fired former
Exactly.
employee. Yes, you can join, you pony boy.
So, yeah, we are going to bring back the jingles, and with
Yes.
that, yes, we do it. And with that, we move over to the games of the week. All right. The jingles are back, guys. And with that, we want to know, of course, what you guys have been playing. Dutch, what kept you busy
Yeah, so
this week?
obviously I've been playing more Hellblade. I played it again, and did my review, which is up on the channel now. So I've been playing more of that. Put my review up there. Spent a lot of time doing that as well. But other than that, I haven't really had a chance to game so much. But I did jump into another of ASA's community gaming nights as well the other day, and we were playing a little bit of Forza and then a bit of the finals, which I haven't actually played yet. But it was
Well,
actually
how
quite
is it?
good.
I haven't played it either.
Yeah, as an online PvP PvE shooter, it was quite good. It was quite fun actually. Objective based, so you have to kind of try and force this kind of moving object or moving platform all the way to the end, whilst the other team tries to force it over to your side to win. So it's like this tug of war essentially to try and get it to move. But actually, it was very entertaining, and it was really good. So I think I'm going to jump on it a little bit in kind of spare time and play a few rounds and things like that, because it's a free game, so I can't complain. It's got good mechanics. Overall, it seems quite decent, so had some fun. Yeah, had some fun.
Good.
But I'm
Good
also going to
stuff
get
there.
back to Ayuden Chronicles after playing Hellblade as well.
Sweet. Very, very good. I will get to Ayuden in a second.
Yes.
But let's see what our community has been playing. Dustin Lambert has been playing Diablo 4, and he hit level 92. Nice. I will talk about that in a second, but I've been playing Diablo 4 all week, and it's awesome. Hertog Vin, the Vinny boy, the pineapple pizza lover, he's been playing Hellblade 2, Ayuden Chronicles, Days Gone, and the finals. So quite a playlist there.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have H. Julia has been playing Hellblade 2 and Elden Ring. Oh, getting ready for that DLC. Like in 2 weeks, it's gonna drop. Good stuff there. Kirby Louise, awesome to see you in the chat, man. He says he's been playing War Thunder and Neptunia Sister versus Sisters. I've never heard of that game. War Thunder, of course, I know.
Yeah.
Good stuff there. Siki has been playing X Defiant. It's a cheap Call of Duty, he says. Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't played it yet, but it looks like a good time, and I've actually heard good things about that.
I've heard mixed things. Heard very mixed things. I've heard by some people that it's quite fun, and then by other people that it's got some of the worst network and a netcode that you can possibly find in a shooter, and it's pretty terrible. On more the,
Mm,
I think it's more being skill-based matchmaking and things like that. I think the matchmaking for it
yeah,
is shit. That's from what
yeah,
I've heard.
it's not skill-based matchmaking. That's the big criticism I've been hearing, but apparently it has very good mechanics. I haven't tried it out myself. I need to do that. Pyro has finished Ayuden Chronicles. Yeah, me too, man. Good stuff. Fallout 76 has kept him now busy, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. Good stuff. And Sin has Hellblade 2 on the playlist and Starfield with that performance update. Oh yeah, good stuff. Do we have anyone in your chat as well?
No one in my chat.
No. All right. Good.
No, I'm joking. No, there's no games in my chat. There are people,
No,
but there's
okay,
no
okay.
games.
No games. No games. They're busy listening to us,
Yes.
man. So, yeah, man. I have actually finished Ayuden Chronicles over the last weekend.
Yes.
Took me about 35 hours. And I must say, it's one of the best JRPGs I have played in a long time. If you guys enjoyed your likes of, I just wanted to say Starfield, but I meant Sea of the Stars, of course, or Octopath Traveler, games like that, you're gonna love Ayuden Chronicles. I enjoyed the story actually. I like the combat system with the party system that really allowed you to try out different characters and different gameplay styles in a turn-based RPG. I think that's quite unique. Lovely art style with great diverse environments, and I just had a blast, man. There was no grinding necessary. Because a lot of these JRPGs, when you remember Octopath Traveler, you always hit that difficulty level where you're just like, oh shit, now I have to do like 10 hours of grinding to beat that next boss. You never had that once in Ayuden. I've seen a lot of people say it's a little too easy, and maybe that's right. But on the other hand, it really didn't require you to grind, so I'm good with the difficulty.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the easier JRPGs, and that's why I also feel like everyone who has not played that type of game and is new to the genre,
It's a good step in. It's definitely a good drop
absolutely.
in game. For those who haven't played turn-based JRPGs before, because let's face it, some maybe haven't. It's definitely a very good starting place. And of course, if you want something a little bit more difficult, then you've got the old school traditional turn-based JRPGs to jump into that are difficult and do have that grinding.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely, I recommend that game. I had a blast playing it. Then I went on the aforementioned business trip to Munich.
Yeah.
And I played a lot in the evenings, in the hotel room on my alley. I jumped back into Diablo 4.
Nice.
Started with season 4 and checked out the Loot Reborn update, and boy is it good. That is like, it's fantastic, man. They fixed a lot of smaller issues that I thought Diablo had, and they made the grinding much more rewarding, and you have a significantly better feeling of progression. There's plenty of stuff to do now, not just seasonal stuff. I've never bought a battle pass in any game, so I'm, not doing the battle pass stuff, but they didn't lock any content behind the battle pass, so you can play everything that the game has to offer, and it's really, really good, man. I'm rocking now a sorcerer in season 4. Love the build I have. Love what they did with changing affixes and everything. Super addicted again. Like, I couldn't recommend it more.
My only
Diablo
thing
4
with I've got this is the same thing I've got with Starfield, with Diablo, with a load of them is as much as I want to go back and try out these changes and try out these things, just so many things I need to catch up on. Otherwise, I would,
Yeah.
because I did really enjoy Diablo. I did enjoy playing it. It's just if I start playing something new, old now that I've played before, I'll never get through any of the stuff that I've got before it starts to get really busy.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. On the other hand, man, if
And
you
we've
think
got as
about
well,
it,
and I
for
just
the
had
next 3 months, we don't have any major releases.
well,
Yeah, we have minor smaller things.
There's one that I forgot about that is releasing next month. Still wakes the
Which
date.
one? Yeah, but it's a super small game.
Yeah, but still, it's one I forgot about. That's another Gamepass title. Woohoo!
Yeah, I mean, there are things that I want to catch up. I want to properly get into Immortals of Avium. I've only played like the first 5 hours or so.
Yeah.
There are things. There are things that I want to catch up, but when I think about it, it's like till the end of August, there's nothing major coming out other than the Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah.
Which is a DLC, you know. There are no major new releases, so we have plenty of time to catch up on stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got up until like just after the Xbox showcase, so we've got at least up until maybe July-ish, between now and July to catch up, and then August, September, October, November, they're gonna get pretty busy.
They are gonna get super busy.
Yeah.
But like, I think Star Wars Outlaws is the next bigger game that comes out. There are smaller indie games coming. Looking forward to Hypercharged,
Yeah.
For instance. But there's nothing major coming, especially none of the bigger ones. So yeah, it's we got now time to catch up, and we should do that because when the Star Wars Outlaws come out, August 29th or 30th.
Yeah.
So after that, it's gonna be madness with Stalker 2, and then Avowed, and Indiana Jones, and Call of Duty,
Solar Crown.
Test Drive. Let us use that as a segue, man, because super early in the show, actually before we probably started the show, while we had the starting soon screen on, super chat came in from Drawn TJ, and he says, "Hi guys, what's your thoughts on Test Drive?" Dutch, you want to go first because Test Drive actually just today released a trailer. I actually did miss it, but TJ was kind enough to send me the trailer in the DM, so I got a chance to look at it, and I have many things to say, but you want to go first, man?
Yeah. It's Test Drive is one of the kind of OGs of, should we say, a semi-open world racing / lifestyle simulation. So it was always up there as kind of one of the greats in terms of a kind of car franchise. And it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting for Test Drive to kind of come back into the swing of things. So I'm super looking forward to Test Drive Solar Crown, which is, I think it's still named as. And yeah, it's I'm hoping it's as good as, if not better than the franchise has been in the past. It was a really good game. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, definitely. Are you muted?
Sorry, I was just about to close the poll. Looks like we are going to watch some Hellblade gameplay again, but it was a very close vote with Diablo, so we might switch gameplay mid-show and just watch in the second half then Diablo.
Nice.
Season 4. But yeah, Solar Crown, Test Drive Unlimited. I was like you said, it's an classic driving IP.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they have almost all been good. There wasn't like a real letdown in the series, and it's been a long time coming. But the game has been delayed so many times. Today, out of nowhere, they dropped that trailer along with the release date, actually, and I was at first a little surprised. Like, why would you do that right in before showcase season? Yeah, put it on the stage of Jeff Keighley, put it on the stage of Xbox, or even in the state of play, yeah, to get like a bigger audience for it. Then I thought like maybe that's actually a smart thing to do, because let's face it, with all the announcements coming, yeah, you have like next weekend, Friday, the Summer Game Fest. You have Saturday the Ubisoft Forward, and then on Sunday the Xbox Showcase. Games like this kind of tend to overlook.
Yeah.
And now that they've just released it on their own, put it out there, at least people are talking about it. And I think it actually might be a smart move to do that for some games, because like in this flood of announcements and trailers, it'll be impossible for some games to actually stand out. So yeah, that trailer looked simply amazing, and I can't wait for it. Looking forward to that game. Actually, later this fall. I forgot the release date, man.
It's September.
It was September somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, it's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome. All right, Dutch. With that, let us get into some topics. And with that, we have a jingle again, of course, because we're gonna talk about the news of the week.
Jingle, jingle.
Jingle, and we are back. Pressed the wrong button, actually. Anyway, we are back with the news of the week, and actually, I wanted to start to talk to you about actually Sony. They had a business update. Both new PlayStation CEOs came out and talked a little bit about the Sony strategy and PlayStation strategy and what they want to do with their games. And there's one clip, I actually also shared it on Twitter, from Herman Holst, where he talked about exclusivity. And the exclusivity talk has been something we've been doing, of course, on this show. The community has been doing it. It's a controversial topic, especially with Xbox as of late. And Herman Holtz doubled down and explained what their strategy is. And he said all live service games going forward will come day and date to PC, to PlayStation and PC at the same date. But they are not going to do that for single-player games. The single-player games will come to PC, but with a certain delay. So basically, the PS5 console is getting timed exclusive for their single-player first-party IP. And I actually shared that tweet and that clip, and it's a tough discussion out there about this new old. It was basically known, but they basically reconfirmed that strategy that PlayStation, the console, is still getting some exclusives. So what do you think about this? Because I have a lot to say about it, but I want to let you go first, man.
Yeah, obviously they're still trying to sell consoles. Consoles make up a massive part of their structure. Even if the revenue of the consoles isn't as high anymore, it still makes up a significant portion of where they have their player base, and significantly more so than it is for Xbox, which is probably understandable as to why Xbox are kind of focused on more of a multi-strategy now, because they just simply, I think they've almost given up on not so much given up entirely on the console space, but given up on chasing big numbers on there. I don't think they see themselves getting to the 70, 80, 90 million mark on Xbox anymore. I think they'd be very lucky if they get 50 million. Come the end of the generation, I don't even think they'll get that, to be fair. Whereas PlayStation, I think, are still pretty much on track to get to that 90 million plus mark by the end of the gen. So it's
Oh,
still a
if
big
they
portion.
continue like that, it'll be even higher. Just today, Matt Piscatella revealed that the PS5 is like it was 6 or 7% or something like that ahead in live to date sales.
The only thing
And
we have to think
revenue.
of on this occasion, I would say, was depending on how long the generation is this time around. If and
That's true.
that's the difference. If, for instance, Xbox force the issue and push their next gen
Console.
sooner, PlayStation might also push their next sooner than they would initially anticipated.
You think so? Because the PS5 Pro is all but confirmed, and if that's going to come out this holiday season, they can't do a next gen console, the PS6, in 26 or 27. That's besides the
Well,
effort
when did the Pro launch last time? Because it doesn't feel like it was like, I'm sure that was only about 2 years prior to the end of the gen.
No, it was 3 years into the generation, and then they had 5 years left with the PS5 Pro, PS4 Pro.
Right.
So, yeah, that's like, and that's what I mean. It's also, you can't really decide these rumors that Xboxes might launch in 26. When did we hear about them? Like, I want to say half a year ago or so.
Yeah.
So let's say beginning of 24, they make this decision to bring out the PS6 early. A console still has 3-4 more towards 4 years of development time. So
Yeah.
it's really not like, oh, they are coming early. Let's release our console early. That's not how it works.
No,
Yeah,
I just think instead of the end of the generation being, because theoretically, if we're going by last gen, the end of this generation would be maybe 28, 29. But
28, yeah.
yeah, but
8-year cycle.
if Xbox are bringing out their next gen console in 26, that would pull forward the end of the generation by 2 years, which is a significant difference compared to when PlayStation do it. So it might even if it's by a year, it could force them to bring it out in 27 instead. And that would then have a knock-on effect onto the life cycle and
yeah,
units.
okay.
But yeah,
I,
so
I get your point.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, not necessarily like they're going to release one in 26 as well, because I don't think they will. I think it could go, okay, right, instead of doing it in 28, we'll pull ours forward to 27. And then it'll be a case of they've got a year's head, like Xbox have got a year's head start, but PlayStation have also got the upper hand on that sense, because then they've got most likely the more powerful console for that generation. If they do that. That being said, going back to the strategy of game releases, I still think they completely underestimate PC gamers as a whole, and by assuming that they will come to PlayStation to buy the games, they have never in their life moved.
See, I've seen that argument a lot in my Twitter thread, and I've replied to almost everyone. I don't think that this is a move to bring over people from PC to console. It's more about keeping the people that are already on console in the console ecosystem, not move
both
over
of them
to
mentioned
PC.
Both of them mentioned hoping to get PC players to get a PlayStation, or incentivize them to get a PlayStation by releasing it first on PlayStation. And I don't think that'll be as we know, that won't be the case. PC players are more than happy to wait.
I agree.
Because
I totally agree.
Because the reason people are ultimately gaming on PC in the first place is because those people want the high fidelity and the high frame rates. They don't want to go on a console where the maximum frame rate is 60 frames and the maximum fidelity is anywhere near close to the best you can get on PC. So you're not going to bring over those PC crowds to console, because that's not where they want to game. That's why they're on PC in the first place. Like, it's not like me and you who have a PC, but we have console as our primary, and happen to have a PC because we play the additional, like, occasional game on it, like Age or something like that, but also use it for content creation. But the vast majority of PC players are PC players for a reason. They buy a PC because they want the best frames and they want the best fidelity, and that is on PC. Always will be. Always has been. So that's not going to change. Wait, give it even a 6 month or a 12 month win. They don't. PC players will just say, "Oh, I'll just wait then," because in 12 months' time, I'll get the best version of the game.
Yeah, all the bugs are fixed.
Yeah,
and
all
so
the
on.
bugs are fixed. It will have all of the super resolution.
I totally
modes
agree.
and everything.
I totally agree. I don't think that you will move over gamers from PC to console.
No.
That's why I said I think this is more of a strategy to keep people that are already on console in the console, not move over.
This is, I think,
PC.
this is the issue. I think with both Xbox and PlayStation in some respects is people who are, for the most part, on console are casual gamers. For the most part, like the vast majority of people that pick up a gaming console are casual. We in our little bubble are a little bit more hardcore because it's our favorite hobby. But the vast majority are casual, and those people are picking up a console because they can turn it on, play a game, turn it off. They're not the type of people that are going to just automatically go over to PC if it releases day and date on PC, because it's a substantial investment, first and foremost. At least double what you're going to be paying for a console.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it's just not as convenient. It's just simply not as convenient. It's a pain in the arse compared to consoles. Then they are entirely different crowds, and I think that's where, in my opinion, Sony still don't understand that these aren't one in the same. These aren't the same crowds.
I agree. We've talked about this on the podcast multiple times, that the customer base of consoles, for the vast majority, of course, again, especially when you dive into our little community here, people are more likely to switch to a PC because we are also invested in gaming. We don't mind maybe spending a little bit more money on a PC, because that's also still a factor. Yeah, if you want to get a PC that is as beefy as the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, you gotta spend usually a lot more money than the $500. Yeah, it's a little weird these days since the console prices didn't come down properly and everything, but you get my point.
Like console gaming isn't,
like you said.
We know console gaming isn't. You can't just pick up a console and all of a sudden you can game, because you pick up a console, then you've got to buy games, and then you've got to buy potential accessories, and then you've got to buy.
It's the same on PC basically.
Exactly, yeah.
So, besides that, there is a certain player base that wants to play on PC, and they are not going to switch to a console for a game or two. That's just not going to happen, and vice versa. If you like the convenience, if you want to game in your living room, not bother with all the driver updates and setting up your PC and connect it to the big screen and do this and do that, you're just a console gamer. And that's we've seen that over the last decade, that releasing games day and date on console and PC is not really hurting console sales. It hasn't. You can argue all day long, okay, maybe that's a reason why Xbox hasn't been doing so well over the last decade. But that's not the point, because Xbox hasn't been doing well before they started doing day and date on PC. So it's that's not the issue with why Xbox sales are not as high as PlayStation's or Nintendo sales. That's a totally different story. So and PC gamers have already more to play than console gamers. They are more than likely to wait a year or two to play the next God of War or Horizon or whatever they are making, And I also think
that as well, the vast majority of a lot of these big third-party games that are coming out always have the early accesses and things like that on PC first and foremost. Like No Rest for the Wicked, PC early access. Where Winds Meet, PC early access. Like all of these big third-party games that are coming out are all PC early access first and foremost, so they're not missing out. If anything, they probably get more access to games than console gamers, and sooner.
Yeah.
For the vast majority.
And especially, these games, they have a certain hype window, and that's like the 2 or 3 or maybe 4 weeks, but then you're already in like Elden Ring territory. You have the 2-3 weeks after launch where you have that hype window where everyone is playing it, everyone is talking about it, the articles are getting written, the people on social channels share their clips, their screenshots, and so on. That's the hype window.
Yeah.
And you completely losing out if you don't bring your games day and date to PC, because like Ghost of Tsushima came out for PC last week or so, and a handful of people were out there on the social channels. I'm playing that game now, and it did fairly well on PC, don't get me wrong, but imagine how well it would have sold on Steam if they would have launched it day and date when everyone was hyped. You boost with that hype window, you boost sales on both systems, because depending on what you have, either you have a PC or the console.
You know what else I will say for Sony?
You see people getting... let me finish real quick. You see people getting excited online, and therefore you increase sales on actually both. So I feel like that is also a missed opportunity on the PlayStation side of things. But yeah, what did you want to...
It was just whilst you were talking about the hype level. I think the only reason Sony will know, and they still haven't done, because they'll go off metrics based on other platforms, they'll not go off metrics based on their own. The only way they will know if it affects their console sales is by testing one of their games, and I think that's ultimately what they need to do. We'll test one of our single-player releases as day and date, and we'll see how that pans out. If it doesn't work, then we'll stick to doing the 6 month to a year window. If it does work, okay, let's shift strategy. Because that's the only way, really. You have to have a test bed by trying to say, okay, well, we'll do it for games as a service, but not for single player. That doesn't really make sense. If it's going to be really successful for games as a service, then you're going to have the similar success, not like for like, but similar success for a single player. Because as you mentioned, it's about that hype and that FOMO. And when things come out, regardless if it's PlayStation or PC, because it's not like they're going to release it on Xbox or on Nintendo, is it? So it makes no difference there. They're still going to be wanting to play it on either a PlayStation or a PC. If someone sees it playing on PlayStation and they find out it's on PC and they're a PC gamer, not a PlayStation gamer, they'll get it on PC, and they'll be like, oh, it's on PC as well, sweet. If they're a PC, if they see someone playing it on PC, but they don't have a PC, but they find out it's on PlayStation, they'll pick it up on PlayStation. That's how it works.
That's what I meant. You boost on both using that hype level. Although I get your train of thought when it comes to testing in the waters and trying it out, but I feel like what their fear is that they lose console install base. And you will not realize that with one game. That's something you will see gradually over years. So I'm not sure if that's for them in their logic,
But they might see. So the thing is, though, is they might see similar with effect from the games as service games. If they get really good at games as service games, because let's face it, the vast majority of popular Xbox games are multiplayer games. The vast majority of the ones that do super well are the multiplayer games. Not so much the single player games. They've never done that well for Xbox, unfortunately. But the single player games have always notoriously done very well on every platform that they've released on. And we see that even today. Sea of Thieves is one of the highest selling games on all platforms.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it speaks for itself. So the fact that I think it could end up being a double-edged sword for them, because I think that same risk will apply to games as service games as they do the single player.
As well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Single player games are not the only reason why people get a gaming system. If you think about why a lot of people getting consoles to play Fortnite, Call of Duty and
Yeah.
and the FIFA. You know, all live service games. So live service games can ship consoles and hardware, and I do agree there.
And also, you've
I
got to
gotta
add
admit
this.
to try to bring in
Yeah.
some other aspects, because there are two things I actually liked about that statement. The first is, at least they are clear. You know, it's a clear statement. This is what we intend to do,
Yep.
and it leaves very little room for speculation.
Yeah.
And that clear messaging on what are we going to do, and things might change in a year or two
Yep.
or three. I still believe that eventually they will
Yep.
do
Same.
day and date on PC, also for single player games. So the strategies change.
Yep.
But for now, they at least have addressed it in a clear manner. Whether you agree with that strategy or not, but at least it's clear.
Yeah.
And not muddled, like with the communication from Xbox, where everyone is like, oh, and is this now coming or that now coming, and what is happening with this game? And
I think it's mainly in part because, as you mentioned earlier, in part they still want to try and sell this PS5 Pro primarily.
absolutely.
I think ideally they still need a
Absolutely.
reason for people to buy that console, not specifically the PS5, because the PS5's selling as good as it's gonna sell. I don't think it'll improve. I don't think it'll get worse. It's just gonna continue
Yeah.
to kind of slowly trickle. But they'll need a reason for people to get a PS5 Pro,
Yeah.
which is why they're not
Yeah.
doing single player day and date yet. But I think as going into next generation, I think that will start to change. I still think they will. And I think they'll use the metrics that they've seen from the games as a service games as a
I think so too.
as a track.
Strategies will change,
Yeah.
but for the next probably 2 years, they're gonna do that with that strategy at least, and then let's see where the gaming industry will be then, and then of course they will adjust. But again, I like the clear messaging. The second part is, at least they are trying to keep the console alive. Whether that's the
Yeah.
right strategy or not
Yeah.
is a different discussion, and we just had that. I don't really think that it would matter to bring day and date PC games to the console install base. At least they really try to keep that alive, and I, as a primarily console gamer, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of, well, criticism or not criticism, but concerns towards the console gaming industry. And I love my consoles. I love my Xbox. I love the PlayStation. I also do enjoy my Nintendo, and I want to keep that console gaming alive. And I want to, whenever I was criticizing Xbox for doing what they do, it's because, and I hope I made that clear in past podcasts, it's because I want competition in between a healthy Xbox and
that's all we've ever said. Competition.
So, and the one thing that Sony at least try to do, whether it's the right moves or not, but in their mindset, they are obviously doing the right thing. They care for a healthy console install base, which is what Xbox kind of feels like have given up on. They haven't seen growth in console. And yes, the overall console industry isn't particularly growing. It's also not like Sony is growing the PlayStation overall console install base significantly. It's growing a little bit. We've just seen the numbers from Matt Pescatella today.
Yeah.
But it's not like, yeah. But if you look at PlayStation and Nintendo, they are in basically every generation able to sell 100+ million consoles, which Xbox never did. Yeah, they came close with the Xbox 360. They came almost close to that. But after that, they ended the Xbox One generation at around 55 to 60 million units, which is what the estimations are out there. And this gen, it looks actually even a little worse. Yeah, they are like 10% behind the life-to-date sales of the Xbox One. So if that continues, and like you mentioned earlier, if they start the next gen early in 26, they will also end up around plus minus 50 million. and they are not able to reach the 100 million, and that's where they just can't get to, and now they kind of given up on that. And I always said, like, I feel Xbox could do that. They could definitely reach 100 and 120 million users, because if they now have what it takes to have that huge install base, but it takes time. And the time starts now for them, because they haven't had a proper game lineup for 10 years. It has been mostly Forza, Halo, and Gears. Even this gen. Look at this gen. We are 3.5 years into this gen. And the outside of Starfield, which is the one exception, they only had Forza and Gears games to sell the system on. Because a Pentiment and a Grounded, as great as they may be, are not moving the needle. And now we are getting to this point where we have like this regular cadence from Xbox. We have Hellblade just last week released. Then Indiana Jones is coming, and Avowed is coming. And next year we will probably get a Fable and a Perfect Dark and a State of Decay and all these games. They are coming out now. And if you continue that for 2, 3, 4 consecutive years without having a 2022 where they had 0 games, it takes time. But of course, if you bring your games to PlayStation, it's not gonna matter whether you have the exclusives. This is the one of the 2 big reasons why they will never be able to reach 100 million if they don't care for consoles. And the other thing is really about missing marketing. Nobody knows what an Xbox is in Europe. And there's nothing you can tell me about that will make a difference.
The problem as well, because I was trying to
care a little bit about. Let me finish my point.
So it was because I heard you say that thing, and I wanted to kind of just interject slightly about that point. That nobody knows about it in Europe. And I was having this conversation with a few Americans the other day, and this isn't all Americans, by the way, but a few Americans that don't understand the point that the advertisement in Europe is so terrible. Like, it is so terrible in Europe that a lot of nations don't even have stock or know about what Xbox is or Xbox Game Pass. It just is non-existent.
The biggest outlets in Germany, like the Best Buys of America, they don't have Xbox in stock. You walk in there, you see big spaces of PlayStation, big spaces of Nintendo. They don't even sell the console anymore. It's like, and when you talk to people out there, people in Germany, a lot of people say, not, I'm going to play video games, I'm going to play PlayStation, even if they play on PC, like, because it's a synonym for having or playing a video game to play on a PlayStation. And everyone knows what a PlayStation is, and for good reason. You've seen the advertisements for the Champions League finals all over the place. PlayStation. People know what PlayStation is, but people don't know what an Xbox is, let alone what Game Pass is. And so, again, these are the 2 factors that they didn't have a consistent lineup of games for over a decade now, and no marketing, not even remotely anything. And of course, you're not going to sell consoles with that. And then and now they say, oh, but the console space isn't growing. They are not growing for you guys. And that's the thing whether I agree with PlayStation and their business practices over the last years and now their strategy going forward. But at least they try to have a healthy install base. And these are the 2 positives I want to take out of this statement here.
The only slight negative for PlayStation at the moment with this strategy is 7 of their next 9 games are games as a service games.
I agree.
So the vast majority of the games that they're making right now are PC D&D, and only 2 of them are not. So while the strategy might hold true for the remainder of the generation, right now, out of their next 9 releases, 7 of which are going to PC D&D.
And we don't even know what the next single-player games are, the games that people are looking forward to. But we'll
legitimately.
get to that later when we talk about the state of play. Let me
Yeah.
catch up on a super chat that came in from Parasite.
Yes.
T82. He says, and first of all, thank you for the support. He says, the only way Sony gets my money for a PS5 Pro is if they get VR support day one for PSVR 2, for GTA 6, and no PC VR support, or they reveal a new Uncharted.
That's quite a big ask. And I think with regards PSVR 2, it will be supported on PS6, PS5 Pro, but I think they will ditch PSVR for the next gen. I do not see them doing another PlayStation VR.
I agree. I think
ever
so too.
since this one released, and then they said we're going to make it compatible with PC, I think that was the end of them investing in PSVR.
Yeah,
I think that
I think so too.
they saw
I think
limited
so too.
returns. It's what, a £500 and something pound or dollar headset, and its maximum kind of usage was a million or less people got the headset. That's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah, I agree. As for the PS5 Pro, am I getting one? I don't know. Probably not right now, because if the leaks are true, the system will not be such a significant upgrade that it's worth investing another. And let's be real, it will not be cheaper than 600.
No.
It's the PS5 is now at 550, and the PS5 Pro is definitely higher than that. So it's at least $600 for the PS5 Pro. And I just look at how much do I play on my PlayStation. I play my multi-plat games, the third-party games, the EA stuff, Ubisoft stuff, and so on. I play those games usually on my Xbox. For multiple reasons, I prefer the convenience of cloud save files and the controller. I prefer the controller so much more. There are certain things that I just prefer. That's why I usually play my third-party games in the Xbox on the Xbox, and I use the PlayStation for my exclusives, for the exclusives, and that's the biggest problem of them right now. Their roadmap looks bare dry. There's nothing on the horizon other than Wolverine, which is probably going to be, especially after all these leaks, a 26 game. There's nothing announced to look forward to. So unless they come out swinging with the PS5 Pro reveal, and then they reveal the next Naughty Dog game and the next Ghost of Tsushima and whatever Bend is working on, and bring those games actually out in time, not like one game a year. I don't see a reason, because I'm not gonna upgrade to a PS5 Pro to play one particularly exclusive a year or so. And I feel like that roadmap is simply too dry for me. I'm not really interested in any of the live service games we've seen so far. Maybe that will change tonight if Concord looks really, really good and whatever. But right now, there's nothing on the horizon other than Wolverine, again a 26 title, assumingly. Me guessing. No insider knowledge. So yeah, why would I upgrade? They have to kind of really convince me there. But yeah, Parasite, great question there. Yeah, Dutch, let us move on from this topic and continue on the discussions about exclusivity, because over the last weekend, there was a rumor that a lot of people picked up, and actually a lot of insiders confirmed it. Tom Henderson and Jeff Grubb and Jess Corden, and I actually don't know who started this discussion about the next Doom on Xbox. Apparently going to be revealed during the Xbox showcase. It's gonna have a medieval-ish setting. Yeah. And the big discussion point was not about, oh, yeah, we're getting a new Doom. The big discussion point was again about exclusivity. And Doom coming to PlayStation day and date as well. So I wanted to hear your thoughts, Dutch. What do you think about this? Would this be a good move? Bad move? Where are you standing on this?
I'm finding it relatively hard to believe that Doom will be an exclusive title. I find it relatively hard to believe that they'll make that exclusive.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I find it hard to believe.
Because before these rumors came out, I would have placed a bet. Of course, it's going to be exclusive.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it? They told us to. People have been digging out this interview from the Welcome to the Family showcase from when they after they acquired Bethesda, and said, "Well, Phil said it. Legacy titles will stay multiplayer," but he was referring to games that are already out there.
Yeah.
You know, like Elder Scrolls Online and stuff like that, and that they would honor legacy agreements and existing contracts and stuff like that. But then Phil also said, and this is what at least I was getting out of this Bethesda Welcome to the Family showcase many years ago, is that this acquisition was about exclusive games on platforms where Game Pass exists. And Dutch, I don't know about you, but Game Pass is not on PlayStation.
It's
So
not.
I would have placed a bet. And I've seen a lot of people. I put out a tweet about this, and I got more than 400 replies under that tweet.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said, well, it's always been a multi-platform title. It's a legacy title. Of course it's gonna be multi-plat. But listen, this is absolutely no argument in my opinion, because let's be real. Spider-Man has been a multi-platform IP for many, many, many years. For decades, it has been a multi-platform IP until Sony acquired Insomniac. And then Spider-Man is now a PlayStation exclusive. Things change. Publishers, developers get acquired, and things get or become exclusive.
Yeah.
And that is, and so the argument about it's always been multiplat is nonsense to me. This is obviously them.
That's not my thinking. My trail of thoughts is...
Then explain your thinking.
Yes. My trail of thoughts isn't what has been said before. It's that I do no longer trust the hierarchy at Xbox to say something and mean it. So,
Yeah.
while that might have been the case in previous interviews, and they might have said that in the past, I think the strategy change and the way they're doing things now, I would not be surprised. In fact, I'd probably half expect it to be multi-platform at launch. I'd be more surprised if it was exclusive, based on kind of more recent events, but I think it's been more boiling in around the background, and I think they're always toying to see which ones would be best, which ones wouldn't be. Ultimately, I think in the long run and going forwards, and Xbox fans will probably hate this, but it also still gives a reason for Xbox players to buy an Xbox at launch for 4 more reasons, is that the vast majority of Xbox titles going forward will be timed exclusive for Xbox, and then they'll release on other platforms. And I mean
but timed is something different than
day and
date.
that's what I'm saying. But I think Doom could very well still be day and date multiplat. But I think ultimately the strategy going forwards, although day and date probably won't be the case for Xbox titles, exclusive titles going to PlayStation, I think there will be an exclusivity period where Xbox has this game for a year, and then it goes to other platforms after that. And that's how they'll do their exclusivity for Xbox titles going forwards. There'll still be the odd ones that just don't go multiplat. Maybe some single player ones that just don't. But I think the vast majority of games as a service or multiplayers or shooters or things like that will end up being multiplat games. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Doom be multiplat at launch.
I mean, with what Xbox has been doing lately,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah.
Anymore. I was a little surprised, honestly, to hear that, because we've been hearing there are no red lines when it comes to this releasing games on PlayStation. But in my head, it was always like games, the Halo collection, the Master Chief collection, for instance, games that are already out on Xbox that have basically sold what they can sell on Xbox consoles, are then ported over to PlayStation to get a couple of other sales out of there. But to bring like your big blockbuster games, a Doom, day and date, and let's be real, Doom is one of those blockbuster games that Xbox needs in order to increase their install base. And with that, I'm not just referring to console sales, but also, of course, the Gamepass subscriptions, because that's exactly what I said earlier. You have to have a cadence, a regular cadence of quality blockbuster games coming into Game Pass day one. And if you bring those games then to PlayStation, yes, those customers will have to buy the game full price, and you're getting the better value out of buying the Xbox console and subscribing to Game Pass, obviously. But again, people will not know that a thing like Game Pass exists because of the lack of marketing. And then will it matter? No, it will not. It will also not grow your subscription numbers, and it will not grow, at least not in the same way. But obviously there is no red line, and maybe the next Doom actually will come day and date to PlayStation. And it's just the next step in what they did after these initial 4 test games, what they called it.
And of course, the only of those 4 test games, one of them, the studio's completely gone out of existence. The other one was a small one in Pentiment. Then you had 2 you had 2 live service games in Grounded and Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves, out of all of those, is the only one that's successful. The rest of them aren't doing well.
Grounded wasn't too bad either, apparently. It was place number 9 in the best-selling games on PlayStation in April. So looks again, let's be real, Pentiment didn't move any numbers on Xbox either.
It could be another thing for Xbox as well, using it as a test bed and saying, okay, so the 2 single-player games we released in Pentiment being super niche, but also in Hi-Fi Rush, which was actually a little bit more entertaining and really, really fun. Both of those didn't do anything, and ultimately didn't get the players. But the live service games, on the other hand, have done really well, and they're ones that people have picked up and are playing consistently. And again, Xbox could theoretically use this as a test bed to say, okay, maybe we just avoid the single-player stuff, and then we'll just port all the multiplayer stuff.
Maybe.
In which case, don't be surprised to see Halo. on other
and Gears.
Gears potentially. I would say Gears less so. The only reason I say that is because although it has a multiplayer element to it, the vast majority of us that pick up Gears, or at least the vast majority of us that pick up Gears, are playing it for the campaign.
I'm not sure.
The multiplayer.
Not sure. I'm loving multiplayer, horde mode,
the horde
and
mode,
things
though.
like that.
Yeah, but ultimately,
but
the actual amount of people playing Gears online right now, it isn't substantial. It's not. And you don't see like any big influencers are playing it. It's not one of these games that are gaining significant traction as in terms of online. When you're talking about the likes of Halo, though, even now, there's still a significant amount of people that are playing Halo online. You've still got your Halo esports tournaments. You don't have a Gears esports tournament now.
I know what you mean. But maybe, I mean, I've seen the speculation out there about the Marcus Phoenix collection,
Yes.
and maybe they bring that to PlayStation
I was
and
always
get
I was,
people hooked in the IP.
Yeah.
You can spin that all day.
and I was going to say Forza Horizon as well until we saw the former developers of Forza Horizon, who set up Maverick Games, are creating a new narrative open world driving game with Amazon that's going to be multi-plat. And then I thought, probably not to be Forza Horizon, I don't think now.
Well, honestly, I don't think it's the decision of the developers anymore.
Yeah.
I
But
fully
I
believe
think
that.
I think when you look at the market as well, in terms of games that are open world driving simulation games, you'll have the new Maverick Games open world game,
Yeah,
Test Drive, and The Crew.
and the crew. Yeah,
So you've got three open world driving games there on every platform, and then exclusive Forza Horizon. I don't think there's a substantial need. And when they have a look at, and granted, Forza Horizon out of all of them is still the top dog, because none of them have come close to Horizon as yet. I still think there isn't a big, if they look at that market, there isn't a big need for those games on the other platforms. There isn't a big want for them. They've had similar ones on their platforms and they haven't had traction.
Yeah. Yeah. We shall see. I mean, again, you can make the argument if you bring something like a Marcus Phoenix collection to PlayStation, you get a lot of new players introduced into the IP, into the franchise, and then when the shiny new Gear 6 comes out and you make that an Xbox ecosystem exclusive, you bring people over into your ecosystem because they want to see that or want to play that great new shiny looking Gear 6. You can argue there. I'm still not really on board with this strategy overall, because I don't feel like it will generate more competition in the console space. It will. I'm not sure if it is healthy for the long-term console ecosystem.
Yeah.
So yeah, we shall see, man. I want to catch up on a super chat from Parasite T82. He says, so PlayStation's fans have been getting drip-fed games, and now all they get is 30 minutes of state of play. Meanwhile, Xbox gives us a long showcase and Call of Duty Direct. And does this... I don't know what that emoji is called. Whatever.
Shoulder shrug. It's meant to be
shoulder. Yeah. So yeah, it's the state of play is definitely not what PlayStation fans have been hoping for. It feels like PlayStation desperately needs a proper showcase because, like we said earlier, there's no
party lineup.
There's no roadmap. Yeah, exactly. There's no roadmap, and when people say, "Oh, why did Xbox announce in 2020 all these games, and now 4 years later they are still not out yet?" Yeah, like a Fable and State of Decay and all these games. I feel like they kind of had to do that because they didn't have a game lineup. If you want to sell a console, and that's what Xbox wanted in 2020, sell the new system, and you don't have any release games, which they didn't. They didn't have any major release games along with the console. You kind of have to lay out a roadmap, and PlayStation, I feel, is in the same spot right now. Yeah, there's no roadmap. There are smaller titles that are coming this year, like maybe a Concord, and then and that's about it from their first party games. Yeah, they've had their exclusives already with Stellar Blade and Final Fantasy and Helldivers. None of these were first party games, and nobody knows what their studios are working on. So we kind of desperately need that PlayStation Showcase. Also for the announcement of the PS5 Pro. The leaks have been out for months now, including detailed specs and everything. And we have no idea. And now we're getting the state of play, and we'll talk about it in a second. But there's nothing major coming. They're not gonna use the state of play to announce the next Naughty Dog game, and so on. And so yeah, and Xbox have been consistent with showcases. Yeah, PlayStation didn't have a showcase in 2022. Nothing at all. They had one last year, which was not good. Really not good. And now in the middle of showcase season, everyone was hoping, yeah, we get a proper PlayStation showcase, and we just get the state of play. It's kind of disappointing there. Yeah. But since they have been significantly more consistent in releasing major games for the last decade, yeah, of course they can get away with that easier in the games media space. But if the games media would be honest for a change, it's really not looking good right now on the PlayStation side of things. There's really no incentive to invest in that ecosystem. While on the Xbox side of things, it looks great. Again, Hellblade 2 just came out. We're soon gonna get Towerborn and Avowed and Stalker 2 and Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But still the headlines are a little vice versa. You know what I
Speaking
mean?
of Towerborn, that is the closed beta is
They closed the beta.
closed
Yeah.
now. It's no longer closed and opened and closed and opened. So they've got news coming soon. So
Oh yeah.
so I expect that game to potentially be at the showcase in June. Maybe they might give that to Summer Game Fest. I don't know, depending on how much they've got to show in the big showcase. If they've got a lot of big games to show in the big showcase, but you never know.
I think Towerborn is going to be a shadow drop at the showcase.
I think so as well. I think so. I think from what I've played, all I can say from what I've played, because I can't tell anybody about the game, but from what I've played, it was super polished, really well done, and I'm expecting that game to release. Like when they're ready to drop it, it will drop, and it's going to be fine. Yeah.
So yeah, we shall see. Speaking of things at the showcase, during our podcast last week, they confirmed that Call of Duty is gonna be the redacted showcase, and we get the Call of Duty Direct. And earlier this week, they also officially now confirmed that Call of Duty is coming day one into Game Pass.
Yep.
It's not like Sarah Bond didn't tell us that multiple times that they intend to release
this is
all
Xbox's problem, though, Boxy. This is Xbox's problem.
Yeah.
We don't believe them until it happens.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We shouldn't be in a position where we just go, okay, yeah, you've said it, but we'll see. And that's what it's been like for like the last 2 years. Yeah, you've said that before. We'll see. Yep. We'll see.
I agree. Shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that way. But given their track record, it's kind of understandable that it is this way. And I understand that a lot of people are very skeptic about what Xbox is saying and doing, because sometimes those two things are simply different things. But yeah, I think now it's gonna happen after this announcement. Yeah, you can't take that back and not release it day one. That's so. Yeah, what do you think? Is this a big win for Xbox? Is it gonna do what they hope to do? I mean, there is a risk of leaving money on the table, and so how do you feel about that?
So there's caveats. It can be the big thing that they need it to be, if, and this is the big if, they do something that they've been incapable of doing before, and that is market the shit out of this game as Xbox on Game Pass, Call of Duty on Game Pass, Call of Duty on Game Pass, shove it down people's throats.
Yeah.
That is the
Yeah.
way that this game is going to be a big win for them on Game Pass. Otherwise, it will not stop the trend of people buying that game like they bought the game previously, and it'll do exactly as popular as it ever has been, and it'll sell well. Xbox
Yeah.
aren't losing in either direction. If people don't know about Game Pass and they buy the game, they're still buying the game, so they're still getting money. If they do know about Game Pass and they download it, then the likelihood is they'll get a few more subscribers from it and they'll get money. And if people do have a large shift over to Game Pass and buy the game, there's a good chance that a lot of those people will save the money that they paid on the game and buy loads of skins, and they'll make more money. So either way, it's a win-win-win-win, but it can be a much bigger win for them in Game Pass terms if they market the living shit out of it. And that is a big if.
Yeah. Yeah. I've no doubt, since Activision still has their own marketing department in place, that there will be Call of Duty marketing.
Yeah.
But what they need to do is to really attach the name Call of Duty to Xbox.
They need to do what PlayStation have notoriously done, and on their adverts, they don't mention like on their Call of Duty adverts, they never mention that it was on Xbox. So Xbox need to do the same, and they just need to put Call of Duty Day One, Xbox Game Pass, and do not mention a single thing about any other platform.
And here's what I think is going to happen. Activision is still going to market like the last years, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But you will see on every advertisement the same thing like before.
Just a little
bit, you will see play it on Steam, play it on not Steam, PC, because it's always Battle.net, you know. Play it on PC, play it on Xbox, play it on PlayStation, and it will be the same. Because Activision is going to market that. And what Xbox should do, absolutely, I agree there, is really step in and like Call of Duty poster and then an image of the Xbox console and the logo, a big logo of Game Pass and PC Game Pass. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So in order to be successful, or to have, like you said, they will make a lot of money regardless. Yeah. Because Call of Duty will sell anyway, you know. But
the only two games,
what they want to do is grow Game Pass subscribers, right? And with that, you need to really take advantage of marketing and attaching that. I mean, the first big good step is to have a Call of Duty Direct after the Xbox showcase. With that, it is already, at least for the hardcore gamers and for the gaming media landscape, they are going to attach that name Call of Duty to Xbox. So the first good step there. For us gamers, I feel it's obviously a good win. We can play Call of Duty for free. Well, it's not really free, but you know, along with your subscription. I personally like it very much because I do enjoy the campaigns of Call of Duty. I'm not a Call of Duty multiplayer guy, so usually I don't buy the newest Call of Duty at launch because I don't want to spend $70 for a 5-hour campaign. Call me cheap, but that's just not worth my money. I usually buy the Call of Duties when they are on sale for $20 or $30 to play the campaigns. And now I can play them, the campaign day and date, which is awesome. For me, that's a good value. So I think for customers, that's a good thing. If Microsoft makes a little bit more or a little bit less money on it, honestly, I couldn't really care less, to be honest.
There's only two games that can make Game Pass really skyrocket if marketed correctly. One of them's Call of Duty, and the other one's GTA. They're the only two games that will really have a significant impact on subscribers if it's marketed correctly. We know GTA will never happen in terms of a day-and-date thing.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is their only chance to really see if they can push sub numbers in a substantial way, because that's a game that grabs casuals. If you can attribute this correctly in marketing and air it to the casuals, like we see these big adverts for Call of Duty all over the TV, which it needs to be, in every nation, and have Game Pass slapped on it at the end, every time, and not just the little logo, but coming day one on Game Pass. As soon as that advert comes to an end, that's what you need to have, like every single time.
Yeah, I agree. Every single time, and then you actually have to have the adverts.
Yeah.
You know, and again, Activision has been marketing Call of Duty heavily around Europe. Definitely, but yeah, let's see if they will be able to attach that. Overall, I'm not really surprised that it is happening, because that was the whole idea. How can we grow our ecosystem, which is mainly Game Pass subscribers for them, and Call of Duty is a great opportunity there. Let's see if they can actually pull their stick out of their ass and do some marketing with it and use it. I mean, like you said, Sony is so good in attaching certain brands to PlayStation that people think it is exclusive. Remember Destiny, yeah, and like you said, the previous Call of Duty marketing campaigns, the casuals think it's an exclusive. And let's see if Microsoft is going to do something similar there. Somehow doubt it, but yeah, we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. Shout out quickly to Marion the Mad for his 32-month membership in the Mix Up Shield wall. He says, hello and evening. Good evening to you, Marion.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone who is in the chat and joined us a little later. Hope you guys enjoy the show. If you do so, please consider hitting the like button. It's free, but it helps us out quite a lot. So we would definitely appreciate that. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel. Dutch, before we get into the next topic, how do you feel about the first giveaway for that we want to do?
Yeah. How do you think? Who you got your eyes on for a giveaway?
Well, actually, we should have talked about that prior to the show, how we want to do the giveaways.
Yeah.
Whether we just randomly give it out to someone or actually draw the winner, or we have 2 copies on your channel, 2 on mine to give
Yes.
away for tomorrow.
Yes,
Is it tomorrow?
it
Yeah,
launches,
yes, it is. It comes out tomorrow, exactly. Yeah. Let us do. I don't know. Everyone who wants to enter for the giveaway,
Yes.
we should they should put their hyper. So let's do this. I'm a little confused. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. Hashtag hypercharge.
Hypercharge. Hashtag hypercharge in the chat. I will put out a random draw there, and then we'll draw the winner in like 5 minutes or so, right?
Yes.
All right, guys. So if you want to win a free copy for the Xbox version,
yeah, it is obviously
Hypercharge.
Xbox because it's releasing on Xbox tomorrow. So
exactly,
to be in for a chance of winning the game, Hypercharge on my channel, there's two chances to win, and on Boxy's channel, there's 2 chances to win. Hashtag Hypercharge in the chat, and we'll draw the winners on one of each in 5 minutes, and another one near the end of the show.
That's the way how we do it. All right, guys. So people are already typing in hypercharge, hashtag hypercharge in the chat. And we just move on with the next topic, and then we draw the first winner there, and the second one at the end of the show. All right, Dutch. A lot of people have probably missed this one. It was not really advertised or promoted heavily by the regular gaming news sites. So, but I've seen this news bit, and I was like, Man, actually, I should make a video, but I was out of town for the entire week. So I had to bring it as a topic into the podcast. And that is that Microsoft announced DirectSR, which is a new API. It stands for Direct Super Resolution. It's a new API in the DirectX 12 Ultimate suite, which obviously is also used in consoles or the Xbox Series consoles, of course, not on PlayStation. And it is a new API that makes an easy or enables an easy implementation of all the upscaling technologies, AMD's FSR, NVIDIA's DLSS, and Intel's XESS Super Resolution. And it is actually quite an interesting thing because, especially on consoles, we have not gotten that much implementation of or that many games that do use AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution. On PC, DLSS is obviously the one that basically all games nowadays have. More than 400 games on PC are using DLSS already. And there's also Intel's XESS, which is actually very similar to AMD because it's not hardware agnostic, or it is hardware agnostic. So you can use Intel's XESS on an AMD graphics card or an NVIDIA graphics card. You don't have to have a Intel GPU to use it. DLSS obviously is the only one that is bound to NVIDIA cards. However, the implementation has been very tricky as of yet because there was no API, and Microsoft developed that API along with the three, with NVIDIA, with AMD, and with Intel. Actually, AMD's chief software officer Andrei Trafkovich, for instance, had to say the following: "It was a pleasure to collaborate with Microsoft and on the design and development of DirectSR as a way to unify developer access to super resolution technologies across all platforms. We are excited to have AMD FSR delivered as a built-in implementation in DirectSR." And Intel had to say, Intel strongly endorses Microsoft DirectSR specification and the collaborative efforts involved in its creation. It simplifies the lives of game developers and ensures more gamers will experience XESS upscaling technology. And NVIDIA said, DLSS Super Resolution is available in over 400 titles and has become a standard feature for gamers. We are excited to give developers an even more ways to bring DLSS to the next generation of games. And Microsoft specifically said they also had built that new API along for consoles and make it easier to implement potentially even things like Intel's XESS into Xbox console games. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think this is a big deal? This is a cool thing? And will it finally help developers make use or enable developers to make or implement it more often into games? Because especially on console, it makes sense to use these features and upscaling technologies.
While it makes sense, Boxy, while we keep banging the drum for them getting all of these things implemented to make the games run better, perform better, look better, and just technically run a lot better. Developers, on the other hand, are a strange beast because with all of the tools currently available to them, they're still not using or utilizing them to their fullest extent in order to get them used or running. Not all of them use DLSR or FSR, even 2 or 3. Not all of them use any of these things, such as like Xbox's velocity architecture is really used to its fullest extent. So there's a lot of tools that developers have available to them that they're not really using now. So whilst it should be used and implemented, and it is a good thing that it is available to developers, whether or not they're actually utilized is a whole nother ballpark. um,
Definitely.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the first to take advantage of that.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see if they use it more. But the way I understand it is that as of right now, developers have to implement it really on a tribal level, and it makes the life simply harder. That's why a lot of games launch without FSR support, or XESS support, or DLSS support, even on PC, and then it gets patched in later. And on consoles, you do not see that. And to develop for Xbox consoles, developers basically have to make use of DirectX 12. And if it's not, if there is no API properly implemented in there, which it wasn't, it just makes the lives of developers harder. So having Microsoft implement such an open API and basically generate a standard on how to connect to one of the upscaling technologies is actually a really, really good thing. And I thoroughly believe actually that it will help to boost the amount of games that are making use of smart upscaling technologies. And yes, you can argue all day long DLSS is better than FSR. Yes, it is. But it's again bound to NVIDIA GPUs, and if you don't have access to an NVIDIA GPU, which console gamers don't, FSR is the next best thing. And now even XESS is a possibility on consoles, which is great. Actually, I played the entire week Diablo 4 on my Asus ROG Ally, which has an AMD GPU in there. But I use XESS because it just looks better than FSR. So that is also a great possibility. And if you look at the first results of FSR3, the FSR3 implementation, which is now in the models of Avium, it's magnificent. And I'm not just talking about the upscaling technology, also the FPS boost. Models of Avium got a boost of 70%, 72% is what Digital Foundry said. Average frame boost, that is significantly a significant boost without introducing a really noticeable input lag. And I actually tried it a little bit just for like 15-20 minutes or so in models of Avium on the Xbox Series X, and it runs amazing now. And I couldn't notice any visual sacrifices, honestly. And I get like 50 extra FPS on that system. This is awesome. And that Microsoft invested in developing an API that is open to all developers, that generates a standard in the industry on how to connect and address towards some of these upscaling technologies is actually, I think, a big deal. And I truly believe that we will see that particular API being used by developers. So yeah, we shall see where this goes.
Fingers crossed.
But Dutch, let us draw our winners. Have you put in all the names?
I didn't have many, but I have 5 names in my chat, so 5. It's going to be a nice one because it means out of those 5, there's going to be 2 people walking away with a code so far.
Yeah,
so
sweet.
Yes, I've got a spin.
So we gotta draw the
machine.
Yeah, same. I've got a spinning machine as well. So let's just draw the first winner. And here we go. Wheel is spinning. All right. the first one goes out to. I have my winner.
Same.
You have yours.
I have my first. Yeah,
All right.
my first winner.
Let's see that. Hopefully, we don't have a
The same.
crossover there.
Yeah.
My first winner of the first copy for Hypercharge on Xbox is Pyro. Pyro Mad. Congratulations, man! One of our awesome moderators here in the chat. We don't say it often enough. We have some awesome moderators. Our chat. We never have the porn bots. Yeah, right. And the trolls, and they keep the streets of the world of gaming, and of course on your channel of the Midweek Mix Up clean. So big thank you and congratulations, Pyro.
Yes.
Hit me up in the Twitter DM so I can double check your gamer tag that I gifted to the right person.
Yeah.
And we're gonna draw another winner at the end of the show. But Dutch, who won on your channel?
Yes, the first winner for us was Omatoni. So congratulations to Omatoni.
Oh,
again.
Big congrats. There we go. We
Hit
don't
me
have a
up
clap.
on DMs. I'll grab your gamer tag if I don't already have you added on Xbox, and we'll send you the code first thing in the morning when that is ready to go. Because of course you can't gift until the day of release. So
why is that? Why can't we gift pre-orders? Like I don't know. So yeah, Pyro. I really don't know exactly when the game will officially go live tomorrow, but you will get the code during the day of tomorrow.
Indeed.
Of course.
And I have now removed Pyro from my list because he did sneakily jump in on mine as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Good.
So I've removed him. So there is now only 3 contestants left for this last code. So that's I've got Patcha, Marion, and Zach fighting it out so far for that last code later on. So good luck to all 3 of them.
All right. So Dutch, then let's move on with the next topic. And of course, this is the big showcase season topic. And we will draw the next winner for a Hypercharge copy a little later, more towards the end of the show. But yeah, Dutch, it's showcase season.
Yes.
Right? And we said it in the beginning of the show that it's like a game of Christmas. I'm super excited, as always, when there are big showcases coming. Starting actually later tonight, in about 2.5 hours, we get the State of Play that was just announced yesterday. Yeah. We will get Ubisoft Forward, Summer Game Fest, and the Xbox Showcase. Most of those things will happen next weekend, and particularly for the Xbox Showcase, we will have a dedicated prediction show. We mentioned that earlier. Saturday next week, so June 8th, the day before the Xbox Showcase, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Europe, or 7 p.m. UK time, right here. We will do a big prediction shows. We have more than 10 content creators. You might, or you probably will know all of them coming live to this show. It's gonna be madness, like the last years. We did that for 3 years now, and it's always madness to have that many people on. It's gonna be a drop-in, drop-out show, so it's not the entire panel for the entire show, but we will bring people in, take people out, bring new people in. It's gonna be awesome. And a lot of people like Lord Cognito, King David, and so on, they said they are trying to actually log in live from LA, whether it's through the phone or however they will make it work. It's going to be a blast, so you definitely do not want to miss that. So today is not our Xbox prediction show. I want to start, of course, with you to talk about what is happening later this evening.
Yes.
And then, of course, a little bit about the Summer Game Fest and the Ubisoft Forward. And, of course, we will talk a little bit also about the Xbox Showcase, because there's plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
But let's start with the State of Play later. It was announced yesterday, 30 minutes long, 14 games are going to be shown. And they will focus on PSVR 2 games and PlayStation 5 games that will come later this year. So it's not like the big showcase everyone was hoping for, where they lay out their roadmap. It's updates They
Yeah.
actually called it an update show, state of play. We will get updates on already announced games scheduled for this year. Of course, some PlayStation fans have made incredible predictions. The next Naughty Dog game is going to be there, and this is going to be there. And I feel like we shouldn't expect something like that. I'm still excited for it. It's always good to have a state of play or get a developer direct or something. Smaller showcases are also fun, but I don't think that there is a significant hype level after this. What do you think is going to be there, and where do you stand on the hype?
Yeah, I don't think the hype level's massive. I think they've set expectations, or at least should have set expectations quite well. From what I've seen of it, it was PSVR 2 and PlayStation 5 games. Out of those, I also think a couple of those are going to be the PC ports. So God of War Ragnarok and those type of games will be kind of announced there as well for PC. I also expect a lot of kind of third-party exclusive updates as well on there that we'll see. Maybe Death Stranding 2, maybe Silent Hill, and a few smaller titles. I don't think we'll see anything
Do you think
big.
Death Stranding 2 is going to be
Possibly,
there? Because
possibly.
I'm not sure about that, to be honest, because they said they're going to focus on games for this year, and Death Stranding isn't coming this year.
Yes.
There's no way that Death Stranding is a surprise
That's
release.
a possibility. That's a possibility.
So-
So aside from that, though, no, it's going to be some smaller things. It's going to be I think other ones are going to be the games as a service, like your Concords and things like that. That will also be releasing, and maybe a few smaller titles, maybe a few indie PlayStation games. I don't think we'll see some big stuff, but I think we'll see some smaller titles there as well. So I don't think it's anything to get super hyped about. But if you're a fan in general of games, then it'll certainly going to be interesting. So yeah, it's not a showcase per se. For me,
I
I'm
agree
interested-
that it's
I'm interested. For me, I'm interested in seeing what Silent Hill looks like, if that is looking good. That's a good one. I'm intrigued to see what Concord and things look
isn't
like.
Silent Hill a multiplat?
No, not Silent Hill 2. Not that one. It's a timed exclusive.
Timed exclusive. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm intrigued to see how they do that. I think that's Bloober Team, isn't it? That's doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So intrigued to see how that turns out. Bloober did, to be fair, and I keep forgetting the name of it. The game that
the
they did
Medium.
yes, the Medium. I
The
enjoyed
Medium.
that. I enjoyed
it as well. It was something I was expecting something different from the Medium.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's probably going to be more like a Resident Evil, but I really liked it. It was basically a riddle game, right?
Yeah.
Where you had to switch in between the
Solving
two
a
worlds
mystery.
to solve mysteries, and the atmosphere was good. Really good, actually. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Didn't set the world on fire, but it was a fun game. Enjoyable game. Yeah. So for me, like you said, maybe Silent Hill. After the last showing, I'm not really convinced yet, but maybe they can turn that around. Other than that, there's this heavy rumor out there that they will have an Astrobot game this year, which would be cool. I did enjoy the little Astrobot game that came along with the PlayStation 5. Was a great showcase, of course, for the controller and what it can do, but also just a fun, casual platformer. So it's nothing that would set the world on fire for me, but I expect that to be, if that's real, I would expect that to be there. Like you said, PC announcements, God of War Ragnarok is highly likely to come to PC now. Things like that, a couple of PSVR 2 games, maybe some indie games. And actually, I want to see what Concord is, because all we got is this CGI cinematic trailer, We know it's supposed to be some sort of games as a service game, but we really don't know much about it. So it would be interesting to see that. But I also think that Concord is not gonna do anything big, honestly, because not even the PlayStation fans are hyped for that game. You
Yeah.
know, it's probably more like a double A release that just doesn't have any hype around it. Maybe that's because we don't know what it is properly, or just people don't care about the games as a service aspect of it. I don't know what it is, but right now nobody's talking about that. Not even the PlayStation fans. So yeah, and I expect Destiny actually to be there, the final shape, which is coming out next week or the week after.
Yeah.
Actually, I should know that because I'm not the biggest Destiny player, but Destiny somehow kept me engaged ever since Destiny 1 to some degree. Whenever there is a big expansion coming out, I jump back in, play the story part, dabble a little around in the um, strike missions, and things like that, and then put the game to rest for another year till the next expansion comes out. They somehow have continually brought me, pardon me, they have continually brought me back over the years. And the final shape is finally going to put the storyline to its conclusion and end that storyline. So I'm actually interested in the final shape. And I'm glad it's still coming out on Xbox. So
You know what it is? I am so surprised that this game's still going okay. I think the fallout's been pretty big for Destiny.
yeah, it has. The problem with Destiny is that it is so complicated now. Over the years, they've added so much to the game, and it's kind of weird to say it like that. That having a lot of content and a lot of stuff in there is a bad thing. I don't mean it that way, but it makes it super hard for newbies to get into Destiny. When you haven't played Destiny from the beginning and you start that the game now, you're completely lost. You have no idea what you're supposed to do, and it's a super convoluted story and super complex mechanics and a billion different currencies and stuff like that. And you have no idea what you're supposed to do. Feel like that is a big problem for them. And then, of course, they have removed legacy content over the years, which is also, I don't think, a good idea, because people that play that game for 10 years now have a lot of nostalgia towards it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do. And so, but anyway, I'm still looking forward to it. I know there's zero hype around it, but for the fact that it comes out in a week or so, and
Yeah.
it's like, and nobody talks about it. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing that and how they ended.
You know
But
what?
I don't need
You know
it
what
to
really
be.
put me off Destiny 2 was when they
Tell me.
started removing content from the game.
Yeah,
Like they removed and all entire story content from the game. So coming
Yeah.
in as a new player, you don't get to experience. You just don't get to experience what Destiny 2 was, or the story that it was when it first released. You
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
You miss entire chunks of the Destiny 2 story because it just no longer exists.
Yeah.
And I think that is just purely wrong from Bungie. I still to this day don't understand it. And to say it was to save
me neither.
space on the network or whatever, it's just what a load of shit. That it's there and it should always be there. And that's I
Yeah.
think what is the start of their downfall, and the start of the downfall of. And I do believe after the final shape, I don't think they'll return to Destiny for another title. I don't think they'll go into Destiny.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they are going to do. I would actually love them to continue Destiny in a Destiny 3, but kind of as a reboot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely not continue on what they've built on 1 and 2, because even when 2 came out, it felt like it's just a DLC, a continuation of 1. You brought over your character and you just continued where Destiny 1 left off. And like I said, it's so complex now. You will not be able to bring in new players. So
Yeah.
let it rest for a couple of years, then come back to Destiny. Destiny 3 needs to be a reboot where new players have a chance to understand what's happening, what's going on, what they're supposed to do, and then not make the same mistakes like removing the content, and do something new with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see. Let's see where they will go. Anything else you want to add to the PlayStation state of play? I mean, it will air in 2 hours, and by tomorrow we all will know what they
Yeah.
will have shown. So
Yeah,
let us move
I don't think.
on.
I think we'll have a better conversation about what was shown next week. But I don't think there's anything much to add to
Yeah.
it. As we've said, it's not really a showcase per se. It's just the state of play. So it's not something where we can kind of sit here and go, "Oh, I want to see what Wolverine looks like," or "I want to see what the next Naughty
Yeah.
Dog game looks like." Or it's nothing like
Yeah.
that. So it's expectations are well in check. So I don't think there's too much to speculate on. To be fair.
Agreed. Then let us move towards Summer Game Fest.
Yes.
Jeff Keighley has been teasing, like he always does, yeah. Has been teasing a lot of different publishers, and a lot of different developers being there. And with E3 being no more, EA not doing their own thing, with Warner Brothers not doing anything, and so on. None of these bigger publishers do something on their own except Ubisoft. Yeah. What do you expect from the Keighley show? Because people have mixed feeling about Jeff Keighley's shows, and they can be sometimes a little bit stretched out and not being well paced with all the advertisements and music breaks and you name it, things you don't want to see in a game showcase. But at the end of the day, usually he always had like a bunch of great announcements, even at the Game Awards. Look at that. Blade was there, things like that. So I expect a couple of good ones. And earlier today, we learned that, for instance, Dragon Age Dreadwolf is now downloadable via the Xbox Gamepass app. So it made me think, is this going to be at the Keighley show, at the Summer Game Fest show, maybe on the Xbox show? What do you think and expect from that show, Summer Game Fest?
I think Xbox. I've said this before, and I think we've both said this now. I think Xbox are now in a position where they don't need to really showcase big third-party stuff on their show anymore. As much as it would be good to have every now and again a big third-party, maybe it's timed exclusive. I don't think Xbox are doing that anymore, and I don't think they need to. I think maybe something like an Asian game from maybe Atlas, or something like that, or a Square Enix maybe's announcement might make it to Xbox's showcase, because that's a big deal for them. Anything outside of that, I think, will be Keighley's territory. I think it'll be a Summer Game Fest thing, even if it is coming to Game Pass. And we'll probably still likely see a sizzle reel, a Game Pass sizzle reel with whatever the games are on anyway. So I don't think that'll make a difference. But yeah, ultimately, I see that probably be an SGF game.
Yeah. I mean, Dreadwolf is long overdue.
Yeah.
Right. They've been working really for a long time on it now. I want to say it was announced in 2020, Don't quote me on that. But it was definitely a long time ago. And earlier this year, EA said multiple times that they are very confident of hitting a release date this year, and the game looks great, and they are confident in hitting that. Now seeing it on the app as a downloadable, pre-install, it's not the full game pre-install, it's just the placeholder thing, the 100 megabyte thing you download. But anyway, it's there. Makes me wonder if we will see it. And I actually am looking very much forward to see what Dreadwolf actually is, how it looks, how it plays, what they do bring to it. I enjoyed Dragon Age Inquisition. I know people love to hate it, especially the diehard fans of the old ones. But I enjoyed the more action-oriented combat in Inquisition and had a blast with the game. So I can't wait to see. I know BioWare isn't what they used to be. It's a fact. But
I
still,
still
I'm
think
looking
most
forward-
people won't forgive them for leaving Anthem and just leaving that out to dry. I think to this
Yeah.
date, I think everyone can see and will see the potential of Anthem. And I think if they stuck with it and put actual time behind it, it would have been a real big success. Because even now,
Yeah.
going to play Anthem, they've got some of the most enjoyable combat and flight mechanics for a kind of a mech suit combat open world game that you can play.
Yeah.
So I hope, what it is, as long as it's as enjoyable in gameplay as Anthem, but they support this game,
Yeah.
then I think it'll do well. And fingers crossed for it.
I hope so. Man. What else do you expect to be at the Keeleys? I've seen people speculate about Marvel, the Captain America and Black Panther game. Blanking on the name right now. Hydra, Rise of Hydra. What's the name? What do you think? They target a 25 release.
Yeah.
They've shown an in-engine trailer already. Do you think this could be there, and will we see gameplay?
It's a possibility, yeah. It's a possibility. Again, this is the thing with Summer Game Fest and the Keeley Awards. Is any of these games that are releasing next year could be at either or.
Yeah.
If you hasn't got them for one, you'll have them for another. So there's a good possibility. Yeah, there's a good possibility that'll be there. I don't think we'll see anything more from the likes of GTA until next year.
Yeah, GTA is not gonna be there.
No, definitely not. I think we'll
agree.
see. I think that'll be next year, and then Rockstar will do their own thing again. I don't think that'll be at any showcase. I think they'll just do their own. Here's a trailer, like they did last time. The funny thing is, last time is they released it like a couple of days before the Game Awards, or the Keeleys, or whatever it was. So
yeah.
that was funny. I was like, there was no way
Definitely.
that Rockstar are gonna give him that airtime. Not when they did more views in a single trailer than I think Keeley gets viewers in general. But yeah, I think it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because there's so many third-party studios that'll have games coming up soon that could get a bit of airtime.
Yeah.
There's a lot of third-party games. EA aren't doing.
What do
a
you guys
showcase,
in
are
chat
they?
think? Let us know in the chat.
Like EA is not doing a
what do you
showcase, are
expect?
they?
No, they are not.
He could have some of the sports titles on there.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, they kind of have to show them somewhere,
Yeah,
and why not show them at the Keeleys?
yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, it's things like that. I think maybe you never know whether or not EA are doing another
Yeah.
Need for Speed or whether or not they've sunset that franchise. There's just so many different things that could be there.
Yeah, that's the problem with these Summer Game Fest kind of showcases, when you think of all developers and all publishers,
Yeah.
there's so much you could bring up. You know,
Yeah. It's not like
you could bring up
Sony or
Judas,
PlayStation or
maybe.
Nintendo where
Yeah,
you can go, right, okay, well this studio is doing this and this studio is doing this, so we can
Yeah.
kind of, I want to see what these are working on. There's like
yeah,
literally
exactly.
hundreds and thousands of developers that he could theoretically choose to advertise on Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
So it's really
agree.
hard to. It's not even a show you can kind of do predictions for the most part, because it's
Yeah,
just too
it's
big of a
hard.
choice.
I agree. Parasite in the chat has a good one though.
Yeah,
He says the new Max Payne reboot trailer.
that's a
You
good
know,
show.
Remedy is partnering with Take-Two to bring out the remake of Max Payne. They merge Max Payne 1 and 2 into one game, and actually, that's not a bad prediction. On the contrary, I like that. Romain Gamer says he thinks the Silent Hill 2 trailer could be there. Could be, definitely. Could.
I think that might be. I
definitely.
think that might be shown tonight.
Nah, tonight they are going to show, if Silent Hill is going to be there, it's the remake of 1.
You think so? Not 2?
Yeah. No, not 2. It's 1.
I think it would be weird though if they showed the remake of 1 tonight and 2 at Summer Game Fest. I think that would be really weird to showcase 2 Silent Hills in 2 showcases.
Mm.
Maybe here's another one,
Ah.
which is slightly different. Instead of Silent Hill 2, what about Silent Hill F?
Mm. That could be. That could
It is
be,
a good show.
And there's also the
That's a
rumor of
multi-plat
a
game, Silent Hill F. That's an everything
it's a
game.
multiplat, yeah. Resident Evil has actually 2 rumors out there. Resident Evil 9, which has actually been delayed
Yes.
towards the end of 2025. So I'm not sure if they are ready to show that just yet. But there's this rumor, and it's could be that Resident Evil 1 is getting the remake treatment like Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4 actually got. So that could be something. You know what I'm hoping to see, and I feel like this is a game for the Keighley show stage. It is a proper showing along with a release date for the Gothic remake. It's actually something not a lot of people have on their radar, but Gothic is getting a full-fledged remake, including new combat system and everything. And the little things we've seen so far look absolutely phenomenal. And I could see a game like that being there. So yeah, maybe we'll see that. Yeah, but it's generally harder to predict something like the Keighley showcase. Yeah. So then let's talk about, or real quick, do you think any Nintendo, PlayStation, or Xboxes are going to have something there?
Yes.
Because
because he's already
Keighley
said they're
put
taking
out-
part.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
is
They are
also
taking
part of
part.
the reason why I was going to say potentially Towerborn. Because they are taking part. It's a potential because it is one of their smaller titles that they've got coming out.
I'm not sure if Towerborn is going to be there. You know what? I think what Xbox is going to put on the Keighley stage?
What?
Call of Duty.
Nah.
They're going to
Nah.
put definite. I would be surprised if they didn't. They're not going to reveal gameplay or anything there, but they do a little maybe live action, maybe cinematic CGI trailer, a little teaser there, and then they have this see the full reveal during the Call of Duty directly after the Xbox showcase. And frankly, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do that, because it's good promotion for the Xbox showcase and the Call of Duty Developer Direct. You have a much wider audience at the Keighley Summer Game Fest, because the Xbox showcase, let's be real, is for Xbox fans. It's not for like a customer who thinks about getting a console
Yeah.
or a Game Pass subscription. Those guys are not gonna watch that show. The Xbox showcase is for the already existing customers and the game media, but and of course the influencers and so on. But the Summer Game Fest, because it covers mobile, because it covers PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Nintendo, and everything, has a much wider audience. And to have a little teaser there to tease not just Call of Duty, but especially the Call of Duty Developer Direct, I feel like Xbox is gonna do that.
Yeah, possibly see something like that, but wouldn't see, like I said, I wouldn't see a proper trailer. I think maybe it's just
No, not a
see
proper
the
trailer,
full
teaser.
see the game reveal at the Xbox showcase, and that's it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't see. But yes, yeah. In retrospect to the other titles, yes, we will see Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation all be at the Summer Games Fest, but not to the greatest. I had this argument with somebody the other day who's morbidly brain dead, who's a journalist, talking about the attributing the actual showcases from Sony, PlayStation, and Nintendo to Summer Games Fest, and that being the new E3. And I was pointed out categorically, none of these platforms recognize Summer Game Fest as attributed at all to their showcases, which is entirely different to what E3 was, where all of their showcases were E3 briefings. All of them were Sony's E3 or PlayStation's E3 briefing 2018 or Xbox's E3 briefing 2019. And then only after that did they go by themselves, and none of them have actually attributed to Summer Games Fest directly. So none of these showcases are anything to do with Summer Game Fest. Yes, they're taking part in Summer Game Fest, but it isn't anything to do with their own showcases. And I think that's where some of these journalists need to kind of get off the high horse and just admit facts. Because the facts are, none of these platforms are actually in any way in conjunction with Summer Game Fest from an actual first-party standpoint. None of them have any part in it and won't, because it's their own and they can do it cheaper, and they don't want to give royalties to him, and they don't want to give him the airtime.
I agree.
So
I agree.
But yeah, in that retrospect, we will see smaller things that PlayStation and Nintendo have that aren't the biggest of deals. Maybe some Game Pass announcements, smaller things for Xbox. For Nintendo,
like a sizzle reel trailer for Game Pass.
For Nintendo, it'll be
like
some smaller things, like maybe an Ace Attorney or something ridiculous. Like we say smaller things, but for them, that's not like a Mario or a Zelda or anything like that, or a Pokemon. Like
no,
that's
not
specifically
to that level.
Same for PlayStation. It'll be
agree.
some of their smaller things, like maybe smaller indie-ish type titles or something that's coming to the platform. That's what will get the limelight there.
Yeah, I agree. The big question for me is whether we will finally see Crysis 4. Either on the Keighley's or maybe even on the Xbox stage, because that game is also has been announced like 3 years ago or so, and we haven't seen anything other than a logo and a super short teaser trailer. But let's see. Summer Game Fest. It's definitely gonna be interesting to watch. Overall. Then we have Ubisoft Forward coming, Dutch. The only third-party publisher that does a show and case. And honestly, we have to give kudos to Ubisoft, because the bigger ones all did their own thing. Of course, Bethesda did their own show, EA did their own show. They all did one, and the only one who still cares to make a show is Ubisoft, which is good. Of course, they are not, these single publisher showcases usually are not as exciting as
Yeah.
like a platform holder, a Nintendo or a PlayStation or an Xbox. But still, Ubisoft has a great lineup coming. They have obviously Star Wars Outlaws coming, which looks amazing. They have Assassin's Creed Red coming, which everyone is actually pretty excited for. With the Japan setting, they have potential reveals of finally the Splinter Cell remake. Beyond Good and Evil is, we don't even know if that game still exists, but it's potential. They have actually quite a bunch of interesting games in their pipeline. So what do you expect from that showcase?
Yeah, obviously we'll see the new Star Wars.
Yeah.
We'll see a lot of the new Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah.
Maybe see a little bit more on Assassin's Creed Hex. Shadow,
You
yeah,
think
we'll see more
Assassin's
gameplay for
Creed
Shadow.
Hexen? I don't think we will see the Assassin's Creed mobile thing. What's it called?
No,
Jade
I think
or
because
something.
Shadow's coming out this year, I think we'll see a little bit more for
Yeah,
Hexen.
Shadows.
Yeah.
Right, it's called Shadows. Not, I still call it Assassin's Creed Red.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's called Shadows
Yeah.
now. Of course, yeah, we will see that.
Yeah.
But that's and maybe the mobile Assassin's Creed. I don't think we will see Hexen or anything.
I think we might. I think it's there, but I don't think it'll be a super long show.
I mean, they tend to stretch it out with
maybe
Let's Dance and shit like that.
maybe a new Ghost Recon.
Oh yeah, that's
Been
been
a
a
while.
while. Yeah, that has been a while.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Was Ubisoft Splinter Cell? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. The Splinter Cell remake has been announced, I want to say 4 years ago.
So maybe Splinter Cell.
Maybe it was 3 years.
Maybe Splinter Cell. And I think they kind of semi-teased it when they initially announced the show. They were doing a Ubisoft Forward. So,
God, this is one of the IPs I will never understand why they treat it so badly, because the Splinter Cell is not an IP or franchise that kind of died off and became, overly saturated, where people said like, oh, not again, another new Splinter Cell. They were on that 3-4 year cadence, which was just right. And since we don't have that many games in that genre, the stealth espionage kind of action games, is so badly treated. The last Splinter Cell was on the Xbox 360 and PS3. This is like, it's crazy. But yeah, I have high hopes for the remake.
And Pat has also put in the chat Far Cry.
Yeah, I don't think so. When was Far Cry 6? That was
beginning of the gen.
22. I think it was. Hang on, give me a second. Far Cry 6 was 21, 3 years ago. Yeah.
And all they have to do is announce it. It's not necessarily that it's coming anytime soon. It could be for next year, for instance. And that would give it 4 years.
Yeah, could be. Definitely. Yeah. So Ubisoft, obviously, they have a great 2024. They started with Prince of Persia, which isn't your typical Ubisoft game anymore, 2D side scroller, but a very good one, great Metroidvania, also very well received. And then Outlaws, everyone is excited for that, looks phenomenal. Assassin's Creed, finally with a setting that gets people excited. After Valhalla getting like mixed reviews, even though Valhalla was, I think, a great game. It was kind of a mixed reception. So yeah, they are in for a very good year. And beyond. If they can reveal that Splinter Cell remake properly and it shows well, that will actually do quite some headlines. So yeah. Then we have, of course, the big Xbox showcase, and with that, we round it up. Again, we do a dedicated Xbox prediction show on Saturday, June 8th. But just real quick, overall, before we don't do like proper predictions today, what do you expect? Where's the hype level?
I mean, this should be their biggest showcase they've ever done.
I do agree. I totally do agree. I feel like this is a year where they have like so many AAA blockbuster titles. Last year's showcase was great, and they had a few really big blockbusters in there, obviously with Starfield and Fable. But for the most part, it was like, how do I say that without sounding like, or making it worse than it was, but a Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange, yeah.
No, a Clockwork Orange and a South of Midnight. Games like in the Towerborn and games like that. I'm super excited for those. But are they going to be these AAA blockbuster titles that people want as, like system or subscription sellers? Probably not. Probably not. Still, it was a fantastic showcase last year. Don't get me wrong, but this year I feel like they will have so many bangers in there. There's obviously Gear 6, maybe Perfect Dark, Fable again. Then they have Indiana Jones, which they will definitely show off again, and about, and Doom, and so there are so many like really blockbuster titles.
And then now attributed to Call of Duty there as well. So
exactly, they have Call of Duty there, and it is like this the size of the games. Yeah, Gear 6 is not comparable with a South of Midnight. In terms of impact.
But in terms of, I think on top of this as well, is the fact that not only do they have a bunch of bangers now, but they've also got a bunch of games that we saw last year that look like they should have some form of release date soon, being able to give release dates this showcase. Like your Fables, like your South of Midnight, like your Clockwork Revolution. All of these titles should theoretically get release windows for next year.
Yes.
And then have additionals. And
then there's still these games, these forever announced games like State of Decay 3. Which apparently looks really, really good. With the help of the Coalition. And you bring in your Doom and your Gear 6 and your Fable and the Perfect Dark in between those games.
I've got a question.
I don't think Blade is... Yeah, please.
Will this eventually be the year we see Everwild again?
Ooh. We should save that question for the big prediction showcase and ask our guests that. I feel like it... See, that's the thing with many of these games. They are so long in development now, right? Fable is 7 years now in development. When it comes out in 2025, it will be 8 years of development.
It's the only time I can forgive them, because this is the first time they've done something different to Forza. So you can forgive this timeline because they're getting to grips with everything. With a
Yeah,
normal
yeah.
studio, I'd
Well,
be going, come on.
I mean, it's like 6 years development cycle is for a major release now the
Yeah,
norm, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, it's not like I didn't mean it in
Oh,
this
no,
way
I know
that
that.
they all need take so long. But what I wanted to say is that they there are so many games that are for so long now in development,
Yeah.
like an Everwild, like a State of Decay 3, that it becomes basically a safe guess that they have to show these games at some point, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, they have to.
it's
They
they,
can't get away from
they
it
kind
now. You have to show these games. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Perfect Dark.
So
Another one.
Perfect Dark, 6 years in development now. Yeah, at some point you gotta show those games. And so is Everwild going to be there? I want to say yes, because that game is also, I want to say 6 years now in development. And yes, we have heard halfway through they started over with the development. But Matt
I
Booty
think they
came up.
slightly corrected that and said they didn't start over from scratch. It was more they started over from the direction that the game was going in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was just about to say that Matt Booty came out like 3 or 4 years ago and said something along these lines, that people have a different understanding of what starting over again means.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you throw away what you have, but that you take maybe a different approach in the gameplay mechanic or the storyline or the world building or whatever. And so yeah, Rare is actually quite a big development studios, and yes, they've been supporting Sea of Thieves very well.
But it's
that
been for some time,
definitely,
actually. They really reduced the Sea of Thieves
yeah,
development. I think there's
exactly.
about maybe
So
a handful left doing Sea of Thieves stuff now, like 15, maybe 20 at most doing Sea
yeah,
of Thieves.
yeah. So I definitely could see that being there. So yeah, we shall see. It's a
Do you
good
think
question.
Everwild will be akin to a Sea of Thieves kind of exploration-y game with your friends type thing, like they did with Sea of Thieves?
Hmm.
It seemed, on initial showings, it seemed like kind of an open world game, but more mystical with creatures and things like that, as opposed to ships, just like an adventure, but with your friends. But with this mystic world, and of course they've
Yeah.
changed direction, but I feel like that's the kind of thing that the Rare studio, having done a lot of this with Sea of Thieves and built this very well crafted multiplayer kind of friend co-op game environment,
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that would translate well into maybe
That
Everwild.
could be. Maybe that's the new approach that they are taking, that Matt Booty mentioned, and what people made as okay, they started from scratch. Maybe that is the thing, because when they originally announced it, and I'm not sure if it was announced like that or whether there was just a rumor, but because it's been so long, honestly, I can't remember. But for some time in my head, that was a Zelda-esque game. You know,
Yeah.
the Rare take on a Zelda-esque um, game. And honestly, I have no idea where they are going with this. Whether they want to go back to making a classic single-player game, or whether they want to continue in some sort of live service game, which they were super successful with Sea of Thieves. Um, honestly, I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dutch. Again, we are going to do a proper prediction show. We'll definitely go into more details what we
But
think might be
one
there.
thing's for sure. One thing's for sure. There's going to be there isn't really a prediction that is going to be too out of this world, I think, for people guessing for the Xbox showcase, because there's just so many possibilities of how many of the IPs that they could show. And granted, we will have a couple of new things there as well because they've gained more studios, so we will have new announcements. We've also not seen anything from the likes of Blizzard or any of their teams or projects. We haven't seen some of the Bethesda teams still haven't shown some of their projects. And again, then you've got the Activision stuff as well, and whatever outside of Call of Duty the Activision teams are working on.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, they just basically
But what if they
founded
announced,
this
what if
new
they announced,
Activision.
however, a new Crash, and or they announce with just a teaser trailer what Toys for Bob are working on?
That would be interesting. That would definitely interesting. I mean, Toys for Bob left the Xbox Game Studio roster
Yep.
3 months
And then
ago or so.
immediately got a partnership with Xbox to do their title.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that could be.
I think that
but
would be
that game is
it would be safe for me to say that their next Toys for Bob game will be a Spyro or a Crash.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they didn't want to work on Call of Duty anymore.
Yeah, no, like, get me
They
out
wanted
of
to
here.
do what they
Yeah.
let me out of here. That they wanted to do one of their the games that they were known for, you know.
Yeah, and they did
And then-
unbelievable job on both of those remakes, by the way. Both the Spyro, Crash Team Racing, and Crash Trilogy remakes, all phenomenal. All of them so well done. None of them felt like they're out of place. It was just a beautiful a beautiful modern day version of classic games that we all loved as kids. So we could not have asked for a better upgrade on those titles than what Toys for Bob did. Phenomenal job.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was a little distracted by the chat. Yeah, I don't think Activision has any studios working on something other than Call of Duty right now. There is this one studio, forgot the name, that we talked about that last week. It was founded like a couple of months ago in Poland.
Yeah.
That they are working on something
That is
non-Call of Duty related. Yeah. But since this is such a new studio, I doubt that they will be ready to announce anything there. So I don't expect that to be there. And the same goes for Blizzard. They basically just canned their only project that they had, other than, of course, Diablo's being supported, World of Warcraft being supported, Overwatch.
Zach in
being
the chat has
supported.
put Elsewhere Entertainment. That's the one. Thank you. That was the studio
Elsewhere
name.
Entertainment. Yeah, exactly. Elsewhere Entertainment. And I don't think that Elsewhere is anywhere near to show something. And Blizzard just canned their survival game. And before they have something to show, it's going to be a while. And so I doubt that we will see something there. But what I do expect, for
WoW on
instance,
console.
is sending. Yeah, not gonna happen.
You know,
Not gonna
they haven't ruled it out. They said they were exploring it, and you can actually use a WoW controller on WoW PC, an Xbox controller on WoW PC, and apparently it plays quite well.
Yeah, still don't think it's gonna happen.
But we also
maybe I'm wrong.
we also have to understand, and Xbox people will have to understand here as well. That doesn't mean that they won't show PC only games on this showcase, because they will. And I think Zach Riley in the chat is right here as well. Not only potentially the D4 expansion, Diablo 4 expansion, yes.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
also the WoW
The Vessel of
expansion.
Hatred. WoW was gonna be there. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like Candy Crush on the stage.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
The Candy Crush
Wouldn't be
Xbox
surprised.
crossover, and you'll see like little candies of Marcus
Yeah.
Phoenix's face and Master Chief's face popping up everywhere. The silly things like that, and get free power when you sign up to Xbox Game Pass. Again, they'd be silly not to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Pyro says his Guano prediction for the Xbox showcase is an Xbox mascot kart racer from Beanox. Yeah, I would love that, man. But even if it's what I've been saying in this entire time during the acquisition, even if Xbox greenlit some of these games to come back, like a StarCraft or a mascot racer or whatever, it's gonna be many years before we see those games, and I don't think that Xbox is gonna do what they did back in 2020, where they revealed so many games that are many years out. We will see games that come this year, we'll see games that come next year for the very most part. They don't have to lay out the roadmap anymore for the next 5 years. Oh, and this game is gonna come in, I don't know, 5 years plus, because they now have a cadence of regular game releases.
Yeah.
If they didn't have that back in 2020, so they had to kind of show people what they are buying into if they invest in the Xbox ecosystem. And now they can focus really more on the games that come within the next 2 years or so.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Of course, they should at this point now, like you say, they've got so many that are very close to showing and have end dates in sight now that they can start doing some. Here's a teaser, and here's a teaser, and here's a teaser of some future stuff as well. And why not? You've got a lot already that we know is coming that will get release dates very soon, or will get release dates at that show. So yeah, go back to the days now, and I think they can afford to. I think previously they couldn't afford to do anything but show teasers because they didn't have anything lined up. Now it's the opposite. Now they've got the potential of showing teasers because they have so much lined up that they have room to go, okay, here's a load coming and here's some teasers, and people will forgive them for it.
I agree. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a super interesting showcase this year. Do you think they will announce anything like, or this or that is coming to PlayStation?
Not at the Xbox show. No, you'll see that in like the posts afterwards.
Yeah.
And Xbox won't post it. The studios themselves will post it. I think it will be.
Yeah.
Microsoft will avoid actually saying stuff like that, and people will have to dig around for it afterwards.
Yeah. They leave that up to the media then to pick it up and write headlines. Yeah, I agree. Why is there no extended showcase this year?
Yeah, it's a strange one, but unless it's just a last minute thing this time round, and they just announce it, or they maybe do an extended showcase later on or something like that. Maybe it's a little bit later down the line. You don't know. They might have a direct lined up for something like Avowed.
That is what I've been thinking. With the developer direct being so successful now, they had one last year in January, but that was basically the only proper developer direct. Yes, they called the Starfield thing developer direct, but it is, as with Call of Duty, the developer direct is for me like something we had in January, and that was so successful and well received last year and this year that I could see them do another developer direct, maybe around August, Gamescom time, maybe even a little later in September or so, closer to launch, to actually, and that is then basically the extended showcase. I could see that. On the other hand, I really enjoyed the extended showcases. They had, last year, for instance, they had a great look into Stalker 2, at the end of the Xbox Extended Showcase and things like that. So there were like those kind of announcements, and generally you just got a deeper look into what developers want to do with their games. And they've done the Extended Showcase for the last 2 years now. would be the third this year, but now it's not announced. And yeah, it's just weird that they haven't mentioned it at all. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It's very weird that they haven't mentioned it at all. But I think it could be a last minute thing.
Could be. In the last years, they didn't do it last minute. It was always like already included in the original announcement of the showcase. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we shall see. We shall see, Dutch. Definitely interesting times. The next 10 days or so, it will be super interesting. There's also something happening in London right now. A lot of media outlets and influencers have been flown into London. Something's gonna be there. We know Fallout 76. I think it was Cold Eastwood or someone posted it earlier. Has shown a new, great looking expansion there. I find it hard to believe that they fly in your likes of Digital Foundry and IGN and everyone from around the world to just show a Fallout 76 expansion. I could see that there's a deep dive into something else that they've shown there.
Yeah.
But we will find out over the next couple of days. And that's what I mean. The next 10 days are going to be super interesting. State of Play tonight, Summer Game Fest, Ubisoft Forward, and then, of course, the big one, the Xbox Showcase. So I can't wait. I think you too, and probably a lot of us, of our community members here as well. So
Yeah.
gonna be fun times, Dutch.
Cheers.
Dutch, before we move to the community questions, should we do our
Final
second
spinny
giveaway?
spin.
Final spinny spin, or should we let people give another chance to put
Last chance.
hypercharge?
Yeah, we'll do last chance. We'll answer one question and then we'll do spinny spin. So if you want a chance to win hypercharge, both of our chats, hashtag hypercharge, and you win with a chance. We'll put you on the spinny spin and we'll announce it after this. Of course, that's hypercharge for Xbox, which is out tomorrow. So yes, yeah, get yourself entered.
Exactly. The people that have previously entered earlier in the show are still in there. But yeah, Dutch. Okay. Let's play the jingle for the community questions then. All right. Community questions. Every Wednesday, you guys can write in either on Twitter, YouTube, or wherever you are, and send us questions or topics you would like us to discuss. And because I've been out of town for the entire week till this morning, I forgot to put that those posts up yesterday. And I put it up this morning, but that's probably why we didn't get too many questions this week. But yeah, Dave Ramos sends in a question and says, "Hey Boxy and the Viking himself, Dutch, Xbox Forward compatibility can indicate different architectures like ARM, NVIDIA, ARC, and so on. The question now is, if Xbox Next Gen is again a series of consoles like the Xbox Series X and S are now, how high do you think Xbox will go on the high end? What GPU and how high on price? And as a follow-up, there's a rumor that the next Xbox will be a reference device for other OEMs. That makes me wonder if the next series of Xbox consoles will be handheld as the low-end performance and a console high-end performance. Will there also be a middle performance device?"
Right. Here's what I think. I think much like what Meta are doing with their operating system, Xbox are going to release their own Xbox console and potentially in the future provide the operating system of Xbox to work on other devices is a potential. I don't think Xbox themselves are just going to farm out consoles left, right, and center. They're going to kind of have an open source. Here's the Xbox OS. You've got the ability to make your console using the Xbox OS. But we're going to make our console as this. So this is the kind of ballpark in terms of performance that you want to run it on or should meet in order to kind of have a streamlined running of games across the ecosystems.
Yeah. So basically, Dave puts out two questions. The first is where do they position the high-end console if the low-entry one is a handheld or something like that?
Yeah.
And the second is will they open up Xbox to other OEMs? I found it funny because about 2 weeks ago, I put out one of my most successful tweets ever, got like hundreds of thousands of impressions, and I said that Sarah Bond mentioned multiple times that they are providing the biggest generational leap. And they never said it's about performance. What if this biggest generational leap is actually them moving away from a dedicated Xbox OS and release the next Xbox with a Windows Lite, if you will, running Windows at its core, not having a dedicated Xbox operating system anymore. You don't have to develop a dedicated Xbox version per se, but you have a Windows Lite running. You don't have like PowerPoint and Excel and all these things on there, but it's a light user interface that will allow you to just boot up games. With that, they could easily integrate other launchers, Steam, Epic. No one had to code a different version for the game to run on the Xbox console. But that they also would be able to actually do that, what you just mentioned, provide the OS to others. It would also be in line with what Phil said about these gaming handhelds to be a cohesive and seamless experience, to not get pulled out of that. It would also explain why Sarah Bond reopened another backwards compatibility team, because just a year ago or two, they shut down actually the backward compatibility program and team. Because it wasn't necessary anymore, because all the games that they could bring over have been brought over to backwards compatibility, and going forward with the x86 architecture, you really don't need a backwards compatibility program. The games that are released now on Series X and S will automatically be able to run properly on the next Xbox. You don't really have to have this like backwards compatibility team that was not just on a technical level, by the way, it was also about getting all the licenses. But when you publish now a game on Xbox, you automatically basically sign that you will be able to play the game on the next Xbox. So you don't have to have that team anymore. But now they reopened that. Why would that be? That would, of course, be if you move over your legacy titles to Windows. Yeah, if you make the Xbox Series X games that come out in Hellblade 2, the Hellblade 2 console version needs to be able to run on Windows. And yes, it kind of does that already, but you would have to code for that and make it backward compatibility run again. What if that happens? I put that out as a speculation, and like a week later, I've seen a lot of media sites picking up rumors from other influencers like Jess Corden, who put out, hey, what if that's something like that happened? I found that funny because it is, in my mind, something I would assume Xbox is going to do. They are right now owning the operating system basically on PC.
You know
Yeah,
the
I know
problem with
there's
it?
Linux.
You know the problem with it? The only problem with that is that the casual market will not like a PC-based experience.
The casual market would probably not even notice because it looks different than Windows. It's a Windows Lite version, but the core it's running on is the same. You have a different overlay. You smack up, put on a different overlay on that, and people that buy a console will just sign in with their Microsoft account, just as they do today on the Xbox OS. Open up, and there's a library of games, and there's also a little Steam logo and an Epic logo, and you can put up these launchers. But the experience will be very much like a console, but it runs at its core on Windows. It's not like you pop up Windows and you have your taskbar and do the tons of driver updates, this and that. But a Windows very light version, a dedicated Windows gaming version. With that, they would unify that. And with that, they could also solve their quote unquote problem of not growing in the console space and not caring anymore, because it is one system now. You would have truly achieved to have a seamless, transition when you move from console to PC. Games wouldn't have they would also solve the third-party problem that they have, that some third-party developers skip the Xbox because they don't feel it's worth coding for. We wouldn't see issues like with Baldur's Gate 3 or Square or others skipping the Xbox platform, because they have to develop a dedicated Xbox version for a small install base. It would just be more seamless. And Microsoft owns Windows, and the gaming division makes now more revenue than the Windows department. They have now a saying over there. It's not like in the years before, like 10, 15 years ago, when the Xbox department came to the Windows department and said, hey, can you please make us a Windows Lite version? They were just laughed at, and there's the door. That's not the case anymore. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm just saying I have the feeling that they will aim towards something like that. And maybe with that, they even open up the console market for other manufacturers. Why not? It is on PC a common thing. They still have their Surface lineup, right? Which you can buy Windows on, but you can also get an Asus laptop and a Dell and a HP and everything. So maybe they look at it now from the Microsoft and not the Xbox department anymore. And they say, hey, this works on Windows. Why shouldn't it work there? And suddenly you would have like tons. Depends on how many will pick it up, but you might have options. Maybe you get a 2,000 euro console then that is super high end with an NVIDIA GPU in there and everything, because it can run those games, because it's at its core Windows. Does not look like Windows. They should strongly avoid that.
Yes.
Not having the taskbar, but at its core, I could see them do something like that. I don't know about you.
We'll see. As long as it looks fuck all like Windows, I think we'll be all right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It needs to be very casual focused, because if it looks anything like Windows, people will just go, "What the fuck is this? This is too complex."
Yeah, I agree. It can't be, if they do something like that, it can't be a Windows experience. It still has to feel like a console. But look at what Steam did, with the Steam Deck, where yes, it is Linux based. It's not Windows based, because they don't have access to someone who makes them a Windows Lite version. But when you boot up the Steam Deck, it doesn't feel like Linux. If you install Linux on your PC, and you boot it up. It's a very different experience than the one you get when you boot up the Steam Deck. It just looks like a console interface. Yeah, easy to use. All you can do is play games on there. You don't have to bother with the driver update. You have your updates, yeah, but you have that on console as well, yeah. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the experience feels very much console-like, but it is a PC. And I feel like Microsoft is looking at this now. Hey, this works for Steam. They did it. They console-ified. I don't know if that is an English word, but they made a PC experience into a console experience. But at its core, it's still nobody codes a separate game version for the Steam Deck. Why shouldn't Microsoft be able to achieve that? You know, especially now that they have a much bigger saying at the table of corporate strategy at Microsoft. And they can easily go to the Windows team and say, hey, we are the big guys now. We need that.
Yeah.
Make it happen. You know what I mean? Wasn't possible from the back in the days when the original Xbox came out and everybody didn't take it serious within Microsoft. Even 10 years ago, they didn't take Xbox serious within Microsoft. Now they do. And why not unify those experiences? You would have the seamless transition. You would easily have all your Xbox games on handhelds, on PC. It's a super seamless transition. You can play your console games now on your PC and so on. I don't know. It was a little longer answer than I expected. Dutch, let's draw our winner.
Yes, the final winners.
Give me just a second. I have to put in a few more
50,
names in my spinning wheel.
I'm still set with my 4. I've still got 4.
That's easy.
Dave Ramos has already owns the game and he can't wait for it. So Dave's not taking part. So shout out to Dave, but he might and should be able to take part in the community game night tomorrow night, where we're going to be playing Hypercharger release night with the community.
Yeah. All right.
You ready to rock and roll?
Give me one more second. I've got a few more names there. I want to make sure I catched everyone. So, all right. I hope we are good to go to draw our final winners for Hypercharge. Let's just spin the wheel.
Span the wheel.
All right. I got my winner. You got yours?
I have my winner as well, yes.
Very good. Very good. Who is yours?
Yes. So our winner, our second winner tonight is the Apiarist. The Apiarist.
Nice.
Congratulations, Apiarist.
Nice. Big congratulations. Well done. And my big winner is Big Mad Mo. Big congratulations to you.
Nice. Apiarist, drop me a message on the twits if you don't already have me on Xbox, and give me your gamer tag, and I'll send over the copy on Xbox tomorrow when it launches.
Nice. Yeah, and that the same goes for Big Mad Mo. Hit me up in the DMs either on Xbox or on Twitter. Just want to make sure I get the right person on Xbox along with the gamer tag, of course. And again, we only can gift those games after they launch, so we can't gift the pre-order, unfortunately. And we don't have codes from the developers that we can just hand out. We are buying that from our money.
Well, actually, we could have got codes, but we opted to buy them to support them. So, yes, although we could have got codes for you ready today, we opted to buy them so they got more sales.
Exactly. So that's why we will have to gift it after the game launches, and I don't know when that exactly will be, but it will be somewhen tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. But big congratulations. So we have Pyro, Matt and Big Mad Mo on my chat, and the Apirist, and who was the first one?
Yeah, and for me, it was Omatoni and the Apirist.
And the
So
Apirist.
congratulations.
Yeah, right. How do you pronounce the Apirist or
Apirist, yeah.
Apirist?
So he's a beekeeper.
Apirist.
He's a beekeeper.
Yeah, I got that. I never knew how you properly pronounce it.
It was actually much longer than that, and it was quite hard to pronounce, so he shortened the name because of that.
Purist. All right. Learn something. All right. Good. Big Mad Mo says he's only on Xbox. No problem. My gamertag is Boxenberger, so you just send me a DM there, and I'll make sure you get the game tomorrow. Good stuff, Dutch. Good stuff.
Good stuff indeed.
All right. I think that brings us to the end of the show.
Yes. Gives me half an hour until I need to get going again, but that's good time. It's good timing.
Yeah. Very good timing. Very good timing. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast here today. We had a blast, as always. So a big thank you to everyone who showed up. Big congratulations to the winners of Hypercharge. And a big thank you, of course, to all the channel members and the super chats for supporting us. Yeah, it means a lot that you guys come out here and support us. But also, if you just tune in either here on YouTube or on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, we hope you enjoyed the show. We appreciate you very much. And next week is going to be showcase week. So, Dutch, again, we will have on Thursday our regular World of Gaming podcast, covering the news, covering what was announced at State of Play, and so on. Then we will have on Saturday, the day before the Xbox showcase, Saturday, June 8th, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Europe, 7 p.m. UK time, we will have a big prediction show. More than 10 people coming in here. Some of them might come even live from LA to give the final predictions, tell us about how is it in LA, what's the word on the street. It's going to be awesome. Then, of course, the big Xbox showcase on June 9th. We will be live streaming it here. No overlays, nothing, no talk over from us during the show. So you can just come in, enjoy the show, just like it is on the original channel, except that we will do a local upscaling before streaming it again. So you get at least 1440p and 60 FPS upscaled here. So the image quality should be just a little better than on the original stream. We will do that. And right after that, we will do a post show. We will have 2 awesome guests there. We're going to announce that next week, who's going to join us for the post discussion, but it's going to be a blast to dive in, dig in right after the Xbox showcase into everything. And then we haven't decided yet whether we do another special show maybe for covering what was announced at Ubisoft Forward, Summer Game Fest, and things like that. We will see, but there's plenty of content coming, and we hope that you guys all tag along, that we see you guys here in the chat discussing everything with us. But for now, Dutch.
Yes.
Do you have anything coming? Because you are going to do something later.
Yes. In about 40 minutes' time, I will be live to cover the State of Play and do a live reaction to that. So if anybody wants to tune in and watch my live reaction to the State of Play, or don't want to give Sony money and watch it on their channel and want to tune in and watch it with me, then feel free to jump over to my channel in about 40 minutes to watch the State of Play live reaction, and we'll see what they show and how it shows. But yeah, other than that, find me everywhere at WandrinDutch. Also, last note, for those of you who are outside of the UK or EU, for the Xbox codes, when we gift you them, as long as you use a VPN and you redeem the code on the Xbox app, on your phone using a VPN or on the Xbox website using a VPN, it will work as well that way. So don't worry on that front. And if you need help, let us know and we'll tell you how to do it.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. I think that brings us to the end. Again, a big thank you for hanging out with us. We hope to see you for all the exciting stuff that is coming next week. But for now, enjoy some games and don't forget to game on.